Welcome to FMK Anime. I am your host, Meep. I am joined by my son, Gilly, and my partner, Delaron.
Is it? But now that damn it, no. But with our canon, that makes us incestual.
We're watching anime, it's fine.
I love you like a brother. Wait, the normal kind or the anime kind? The anime kind. Ew. Gilly, say hi.
Introduce yourselves.
Okay, there we go. It's actually coming in now. It wasn't working before. I
Well,
am
I'm glad we
here.
caught it now. Uh,
I'm here, Oni-chan.
I regret it. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the stream. As always, I'm Dalaron. You can catch us live today, Mondays, doing our FMKs. Join our Discord, figure out what's going on, when we're streaming, and what we're streaming. Otherwise, check us out on twitch.tv/Dalaron Quest. This past week has been really fun. A little less streams, but Outer Worlds still really good. And more importantly, I released a voice reel. So for anyone who's watching now and hasn't checked it out, or anyone watching the VOD or on YouTube, check out the YouTube channel. Also Dalaron. You can also find it at YouTube DKDRock467. I would really appreciate some attention, some shares, and some feedback. It's something I've been wanting to do, and voice acting is really fun, and I made 2 reels. So go check those out, please.
Hey, Vegeta! Look, he released a voice reel. I have a new auditioner to hire. See, everyone, Nappa supports Dalaron, so you should too.
Except you're not Taka, so you can't. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Speaking of Takahata
You can't
101,
tell the difference between my Nappa and Taka's Nappa. Yay!
speaking of Team 4 Star and Takahata 101 and Dragon Ball Z,
Thank you, Team 4-Star, for allowing us to do this. It is a very fun project that we've been able to do, and I, for one, with the awards ceremony coming up, am very excited.
we're gonna have a 5-hour stream, aren't we?
Depending on how much we fight each other, which, best soundtrack, you better give Baby his bottle. Or else there's gonna be blood.
I don't
Now
know.
a word from our sponsor, Rogaine, for the men that are balding.
Good luck with that, Gilly. Anyway.
Sponsored by King's Raid.
No. That's an actual game. They don't sponsor us.
And
I keep thinking about maybe playing it, but I don't know if I want to do that.
Dive headlong. You're already dick deep into King's Raid. You might as well dive headlong too.
ah, speaking of dicking deep,
God damn
each
it.
week we watch. Each week we watch a bunch of anime, and at the end of each week we decide whether we're going to fuck or kill said anime. Lately, two people, I'm not going to say who, have proven that they're not willing to make the cuts that need to be cut. But hey, that's just how life is, right, guys?
I'm sorry, do you want to cut Adachi to Shimamura?
No.
Okay.
All it takes is one of you, and Akudama Drive can be cut.
No.
At the end
No.
of the season, I don't think any of us are going to cut it at this point. Well, at least I'm not. It's like
Anyway,
leaving a movie for the last 20 minutes.
before we reveal how we feel about our different shows before our whole show even begins,
We do it each week.
hashtag go forth meep.
Adachi to Shimamura, episode 11. Our second last episode, as I vamp and try to get to my notes.
Why can't it be the
'Cause
last?
I keep going back to the stream, even though I should be looking at my notes.
Oh shit, I forgot to organize my notes. Fuck. Oh.
Well, you know what? Rap God.
I mean, you're the one who does the intro. I mean, I can do the intro if you want.
Got me feeling like a rap god. Rap god. Adachi to Shimamura, episode 11. Adachi has been depressed ever since Shimamura started making more friends and acting like she does around Adachi. She talks with Shimamura some more and asks if she can call her. And when she does, Shimamura calls her out on being possessive, but says it's nice to have someone that cares about her after Adachi starts to cry. Someone finally called out Adachi for it, and I
I that was
actually
great.
respect her for it. And she gets so deflective and defensive about it.
Because she's still trying to convince herself that her feelings toward Shimamura are normal and then there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
This episode was, oh boy, this episode. Uh
There's a
like
lot.
it's dense. This is the best Adachi we've seen because
Mhm.
we see like her resolve and actually move forward. Actually, like up until now we've seen like little improvements, little developments, little efforts that she's been putting in, but this time she seems to be going for it, and I really appreciate it. And like the beginning of the episode is just Adachi super fucking depressed, and man, that filter that they used for the beginning scenes, that grain, that like those lines, how everything is dark and muddy. Ah, oh, so good. Yeah, like it really like homes in the utter depression of the monologue. It was like sad, man. Really sad.
Because it's not outright stated, but I think Adachi has also noticed that Shimamura stopped hanging out with Nakafuji and Hino, and the way I read into that is she also knows that if she wasn't in the same class with Shimamura, they might not have hung out anymore.
Yeah, and the smile that she cherishes so much because okay, so we talk about how we personally relate to these things, right? Gilly,
Mhm.
it's the reason you dislike the show because you find it unnerving. This episode has made me the most uncomfortable, but that's because I too am looking into the abyss and the abyss stares back. Um, I'm not happy about it. There's no pride when I talk about this, but I definitely relate to. Thanks, shitty motorcycle outside, and by shitty I mean like your engine sounds bad. Um, I really relate to Adachi. I myself struggled with codependency for a long time. Just needing to be special, needing to be needed by someone. And it creates this paradigm where your happiness is dependent on another person, entirely on another person, how they feel about you. And it's not healthy. It's not a healthy lifestyle. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be special to someone, but and I think it's great. Like it's something you should really enjoy when you have a bond and someone thinks of you. Like all those are very good and natural feelings, and it's validating. It's pleasant. It's love. But when you need them to need you, and it makes you possessive. It makes you very territorial. It makes you obsessed as well. At least fixated on the relationship, and you're not thinking about yourself and your own happiness. You're just thinking about what you do for the person, so that they do it for you. It's not even a slippery slope. It's just a bad way to go. So seeing Adachi struggle with this and kind of her feelings and her thoughts while dealing with this like heartbreak, it's rough, man.
And I, at this point, I don't think they're going to be a couple at the end of the show. I
Oh,
think I think the way the show is going to go is it's going to have them progress as friends.
why do you say that, Meep?
Because there's no, well, she's been giving friend friendship vibes. Shimamura doesn't seem to have any romantic tension with her at all. Which
Yeah.
I I am totally fine if, because a romance anime doesn't have to go all the way to the kiss. If it can deliver just you seeing their relationship develop as friends, and if you can know where it's going to go, it doesn't have to show that to you. It can, and for all I know, the last episode could end up with a montage over 2 years and with them like as adults married. That's what could happen for all we know. But at the way that this episode ended off, I think that it's going to end with just them progressing as friends, and while maybe down the line progressing into a relationship, it I don't know. It's
I
possible to tell.
the ending of this episode. We'll get back to talking about Adachi and how hard she worked this episode and how I'm proud of the little girl and how I think she did a great job. But the ending of this episode, I was like, no, the ship is sunk. It really does feel that way because the way Adachi's talking is so different than the way Shimamura is talking. From the body language during the hug, where she just pats her on the back and she's just like, "Oh, you want to be my little sister, but you want me to be your mother too?" I'm like, "No, Shimamura, you don't get it." And then there's also like the whole way that she's talking to her on the phone, and obviously Shimamura is like nowhere near as emotive or just really expressing the same romantic feelings. I'm just sitting here thinking like, damn it, Shimamura, don't fucking ruin this. Ah!
And that's what I loved about this episode is sometimes sometimes that's how attraction and romantic feelings work. The other person sometimes doesn't reciprocate them. And a romance anime doesn't have to, a romance show doesn't have to end with the main characters getting together. And that's, you rarely ever see shows like that show the romance, that show the progression of a relationship, but they don't end up together because sometimes that's just how life works. It's and I really respect the show if it goes in that direction because it's different. It's not like every romance anime or show you've seen before it. It
True.
and again, the ship doesn't have to be sunk. If it ends with them progressing as friends, and it could end with knowing down the line that there is the chance that they might get together. For all we know, this could have they could just be adapting one light novel and there's more after this. I'm not sure.
I was gonna ask,
Like
is there a Dachi to Shimamura season 2?
I don't I don't know if there's I don't know how much of the light novel this is adapting. I would have to look into that, and in fact I might after we see the finale, because
I mean, yeah, either way, we're going to find out next week. Either whether or not they end up together, whether or not they do a time skip, whether or not they end up friends and kind of. I mean, the thing that you said earlier, kind of like, I can really see it, the show doing that. Kind of Shimamura finally telling Adachi that, it's not gonna work, but there are feelings there, and then like cut forward like 4 years or like 6 years, and they're like mid, or like yeah, they're in their 20s, and then they meet and like they kind of smile at each other and like go out together, and like that's maybe then they reconnect. I have no idea what to expect, and I think that's a good thing because while I'm not getting the love satisfaction I want from this show, that's me just projecting, like I said, the way I relate to Adachi and the way I myself used to feel all the way back then, and I'm just ready for whatever. I'm ready to accept this finale the way it's gonna go, and I guess I just held up a card technically, and I'm sorry about that, but here we are.
I mean, hey, there's so much of this show that I love. And when it comes down to choosing and picking, it this is one of the best romance anime. I wouldn't say it's Recovery of an MMO Junkie. Well, I absolutely adore Recovery of an MMO Junkie, and that's my favorite romance media of all time. This does come close, but they're two different shows. It does get hard to compare them because Recovery of an MMO Junkie has more comedy focus than some other stuff. They're hard to compare, but this show reminds me a lot of it. And I'm usually not a romance guy. I'm usually the guy that sits down when he has a choice to sit down and watch a turn brain off monkey brain mode shonen. And I locked the show because one, I wanted something different, and two, the idea of Yuri in anime is always fascinating to me because anime usually plays same-sex relationships in two or three different ways. It's usually treated as a joke, they're usually sidelined, or they do something meaningful with it. And I'm happy to see they're doing something meaningful with it in this show. And just going play by play with this episode would take a long time because there's Adachi bumping into Tarumi, there's the hug, there's the puppy, the adorable puppy Adachi goes to see.
Why the fuck did she not adopt the puppy? How dare it? The puppy chose her. Why did she not choose the puppy?
She's not emotionally stable enough to take care of a pet.
True. It just felt bad because I just imagined the dog sitting there sad when she walked away.
In my headcanon, Tarumi went and adopted it.
I like that, but like I'm not even kidding. Like when I was sitting there, when I was watching the show, I was just sitting there being like, "Don't you leave the puppy in there? Take him home! No, no, go back, go back."
I know at this point it's purely we know the answer, but Gilly, how did this episode make you feel?
Pain.
Without love?
I'm to the point with this show where I'm legitimately it has gotten so much worse because now I'm watching Fruit Tart to cleanse myself of this show.
Oh no, Gilly,
Oh
no.
God, Gilly!
That is how much I dislike this.
Can't you watch Black Clover to cleanse yourself? That I won't bully you for enjoying.
Ah!
I'm watching Fruit Tart to cleanse myself of this show at this point.
Come on, man. It's a Black Clover, it's a One Piece. You don't need to watch Fruit Tart.
You really don't.
I need something that'll make me forget what I just witnessed and something that's bad, but I still don't even think is as bad is perfect.
Okay. You're
We'll get there or tour, but
choosing to watch Fruit Tart over Adachi to Shimamura is the equivalent of choosing to drink to make your problems go away.
what do you mean? It's
What I
doing
do.
meth to make your problems go away.
Meth. Oh my god. Yeah, as for the rest of the episode, it was really cute. We saw Adachi really struggle with her feelings. Like she fell into a great depression. I actually thought she was gonna make a friend when that other girl showed up in her room. Because Adachi started cutting school again, and she was hanging out where they first were.
Hmm? Did Dal cut out for you too, Gilly?
Oh, did I cut out?
Yeah, you did.
Damn it. I thought Adachi was going to make another friend because she stopped going to school and was cutting in the gym again, like where the beginning of the series started. And this girl comes up, and it's not Shimamura, and Adachi gets bummed out about it, and I thought they were gonna like bond, and she was gonna give her advice. That's how I thought this episode was gonna go. But Adachi was just like, I don't want to be here with other people, and it's not Shimamura, like leaves. To which the girl was just like, oh shit, sorry, I'm in your room, in your space. I don't want to go to class. And Adachi's like, no, that's fine. You, whatever. I'm out. So like that was interesting, but just like the whole narrative of like her walking around, her going to like the mall, and then the mall reminding her of Shimamura, and just her being really sad about it, like all that is like super cute. Like it's she started coming to terms with her own anxiety, and that she always runs away, and that she needs to just bulk up and face the situations that are causing her stress, and to go for the things that she wants to go. Also, she met a train stop Lolita fortune teller with a catgirl face, a veil, and a cracked crystal ball.
Adachi realized she needs to make like a Fuda and nut up.
I hate what you just said.
Intersex people are valid.
Sure, absolutely,
Boom.
but that's not what you said. And
uh,
but yeah, the fortune teller is absolutely fucking nuts. Her crystal ball has cracks in it, which is just hilarious. It's really funny, like visual storytelling. She was funny in general, the way she changes her voice constantly. Police chase her out, and then Adachi comes up to Shimamura and is like, "Hey, you're my friend, and you're someone important to me, so I'm gonna hang out with you now." And Shimamura's like, "Okay, I'm happy to see you. Here, let me
not
get your
gonna
chair."
lie.
No, we're sitting in the same chair. Here, I got you food. Eat. I like you.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was the fortune teller from the TV. She ran into it first.
No, no. This one is a different kind of crazy. That one is midlife crazy. This one is like 20-year-old crazy.
Yeah, you see that one drinking wine on TV. So
Bitch is crazy.
hey, you can be here, but you can't chew on my cords. Good.
That's exactly what you would have to say to the fortune teller from the TV. I agree.
Oh, fuck! I thought I clicked the mute.
Nope.
Yes, I clicked screen share.
But yeah, and then it's just Adachi standing up for herself, and I was cheering for her the whole time. And then when she's like, and then we saw her like reconnect with Shimamura, and then Shimamura's like, "Oh, we're like Adachi's someone who is a real friend. She's a real person in my life, and someone I can depend on. Unlike these girls around me who I'm probably not even gonna be friends after winter break." And I'm like, "Yo, shit's fucking real, yo." Wait, no, it's springtime, so I guess people who I wouldn't be friends with after summer. Because Japan
Yeah,
starts its school in spring, right? That's why all the sakura blossoms are there?
I think so. I don't know. I think I think they start their school at the same time. It's just their spring happens at a different time than us.
Regardless, I thought it was really cute. And then she's learning how to be with Shimamura because she's like, hey, can I hold your hand? Because Shimamura was always just like, just ask. So she did. And Shimamura was like, yeah, sure. And then I laughed out loud when Shimamura was just like, why does everyone want to hold my hand? Do they think I'll fucking wander off or something? Do they think I'm stupid?
Just the only thing that would have made that funnier to me. I'm happy they didn't, but it would have made it funny if it showed like her imagining her walking into the street and getting Zombieland sauged by a truck.
Truckun strikes again.
Uh, Rip Table Coon. Or no, it's Table Chan.
It's true.
Are we ready for cards?
Yeah.
I've already said everything I want to say, and I want to bring Gilly out of our hell. I want to bring him back to life.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm also fucking this show. I think Meep's a fuck. Gil. That Gilly's a kill, Meep's a fuck. I think that all goes without saying. I'm fucking this show. It's, I'm afraid it's gonna break my heart, but that's not up to me. That's up to the show. And I am watching the story unfold. This show has built up a lot of good fate, so I'm here for it. This episode itself is one of the best relationship episodes we've had ever. Probably the best episode we've had in the last, 4 episodes. It's bittersweet because it reminds me a lot of my own flaws, but when it comes to relationships, I gotta learn to not always put myself in there. But it always this show, it's a testament to how good the show does its characters and how it does its content well. It understands the context and the feelings of its characters, and yeah, I really really want to know how this show is going to end, because while I myself am scared and less invested in the relationship, I am very curious to see how the show is going to explain it. I'm scared of her getting hurt because I loved her growth, but Adachi, I'm rooting for you, girl. You can do it. I believe in you. Get the win.
I'm also going to fuck this show. It's really good, and I love it a lot. I already said everything I need to. Gilly, what are you going to do to this show?
I'm just going to kill this show and be happy that after next week I never have to think about it ever again.
Until we keep referencing it every season of FMK henceforth, moving forward.
Look, anytime it gets brought up, I tune out. I already do that, so once I don't have to watch it anymore, it'll be so much easier.
Oh my god.
Why is my computer trying to autocorrect finale to Finland? Anyways, moving on to a show that all three of us like. We are moving to we are moving onwards to England with Yukoku no Moriarty, episode 11, the finale. To all of our surprise, this morning when we were getting everything ready before Family Matters came up, Gilly pointed out to us that, oh, this is the last episode of Yukoku no Moriarty.
Of
And
this season.
it was a surprise of the season, yes. And it was a surprise to all of us. When Watson is arrested under suspicion of being the killer, and Sherlock and Moriarty deduce that the killing was not meant to happen, and learn it was a crew member. After deducing who it is, Sherlock and Watson grab drinks, while the Queen employs Moycroft Holmes to use brutal tactics to steal back documents with Britain's greatest secret. Long live the Queen! I spit on Sherlock! Putu, putu! I spit on Sherlock! Putu, putu!
We know the queen. She's the way. But I completely forgot about Minecraft.
I was waiting when he was going to come into play. I really was, because Minecraft is always really important to a degree, not severely, but he's always important with Sherlock Holmes because he is very different.
Is he Sherlock's father,
Older
brother,
brother.
older brother? Okay.
Older brother.
Who works in government.
Yeah, Mycroft Holmes usually works in every iteration. He works in government, basically always close to the royalty. In some situations, that means he's involved with Parliament. I know in others it's British Secret Service. It varies around, but it's always close to the higher ups in the government.
Yeah, and usually the only
Um,
reason he isn't in the right hand position of the queen is because he himself wants a level of autonomy.
Yeah, so Mycroft in all iterations, he is a type of genius, but he's a very different type of genius. He's a genius when it comes to political matters.
He's a social
Like,
genius.
yeah, he understands politics quite well.
Whereas, so Moriarty is more of a street slash book learn genius. He's a criminal genius. He's able to go into the psyche and psychological. He's psychological, whereas Sherlock is evidential. Is that the right word?
I don't know if it's the right term, but it makes sense. Also, are we still talking? Yeah, I'm just gonna look at Mycroft, everyone. Look at you, chat. Look at Mycroft. But yeah, sorry, you were saying me.
Yeah, so Moriarty is more of this psychological genius, whereas Sherlock more uses evidence and context, and he's that kind of genius. So Moycroft is more political and
Yes, he's political and social, and Sherlock is spatial and analytical. Like Sherlock does really well with data, which don't give it though. I mean, at least in BBC's and the some renditions I know of Conan Doyle's works, Mycroft. Thanks, Horn. Mycroft has he's not stupid. Like he's brilliant too, but he can get out. He's no Sherlock.
I do remember Moycroft and Kabuki-cho Sherlock, and I remember he was a because that takes place in Kabuki-cho Japan. It's he was the right hand man to the mayor.
Yeah, see,
So
I guess.
that's how I know Moycroft. So and it's interesting learning all these things about Sherlock I didn't know, and then being able to cross reference it with Kabuki-cho Sherlock,
It's
which is
interesting how
more of a comic.
it's interesting how Sherlock has kind of become Sherlock Holmes has become this IP that is referenced and influences a lot of media, writing, animation, movies, and games. And it's one of those things that gets reimagined a lot too, but still stays kind of true to its character. So like you can talk about these things about different shows and like the parallels are still there.
Yeah, just like how there's the Spider Verse, there's the Sherlock verse. As well, there's the lesser known Sylvina verse, but that's a
Sure,
whole thing.
the Sherlock verse. Yes, who's your favorite Sherlock? Is it Yukoku no Moriarty, the the one that you keep talking about that you watched, BBC's Robert Downey Jr., recently Henry Cavill for some reason,
Or Sherlock Holmes from Sherlock, the Devil's Daughter.
or the Great Mouse Detective that is obviously just a mouse Sherlock Holmes,
I mean,
or
if we start counting things that are,
there's too many.
yeah,
There's too many.
what
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
what about the Sherlock Holmes and Vampire?
So, are we gonna count this as a canonical Sherlock remake if Liam and Sherlock hook up?
Yes. Listen, thinking about best couple, we've already announced the best couple isn't romantic couple like with, for example, Brawler and Hoodlum. They aren't romantic, but they are a duo. So we could theoretically put Sherlock and Moriarty on there. We still have to discuss nominations. No nomination is going to be set in stone until the season ends. So,
So
well,
let's
there are assumed nominations, like which of us is going to fight Gojo as being nominated for best supporting character? Who? I say who?
So who's the supporting character here, William or Sherlock?
Uh, Neither supporting characters. One is a protagonist. One is a antagonist.
Ah, good point.
I know I was talking with Gil earlier off stream, and we were actually, well, I don't disagree. They are kind of both main characters. At the same time, Sherlock still does play as an antagonist to our protagonist we started with.
Yeah, if Lewis's reactions to him are anything to indicate.
Lewis's
Yeah, it's a
reactions. Lewis's reactions in this episode are very interesting because he had more to say than he has the entire series.
He's
Because
very
he doesn't he's very protective and he does not like this. He does not like Sherlock
Yep. He's
Because
for
he doesn't
multiple
like how
reasons.
friendly Sherlock is with his
Yeah,
brother.
how informal he is, somebody that's actually on, in a way, the same intellectual level. He doesn't like it.
But it calms him in the end of the episode to know that his brother is still ever so slightly smarter than Sherlock. And before I get to this point, or actually, why not? Fuck it. All in all, this episode we get to see William Moriarty and Sherlock Holmes work together to solve a crime, a petty crime, that um, Moriarty is not behind. As it turns out, this wasn't his grand design. This isn't him testing Sherlock. It just so happened that they really were on the train at the same time as this fuck up, like this blundering crime occurred. And we got to see them kind of compete against each other, which was just super fun seeing them analyze everything side by side and together. And then fucking Lestrade standing there. It's like, oh god, it's like Sherlock, but in stereo.
the fuck. The
God,
truth.
and it was so. I felt so bad for Lestrade in that moment because Sherlock already demeans him to a degree, and now he has both these people, and Sherlock is being extra demeaning because he has someone on his level that understands.
Yeah,
By the
It's
time
like,
I
do I have to explain everything? I'll say it once.
I love that fucking Lestrade was simultaneously impressed and terrified of the two of them together. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was really fun to see an episode where they were both working together. And yeah, at the end we saw how they differ. Sherlock works with analyzing the data present and he just tries to construct a case, and Moriarty says it. He works like a detective. He builds a case and then he throws it at someone. But he isn't decisive and he isn't willing to do the things that guarantee his victory. Moriarty, on the other hand, went out of his way to create situations where, when no matter what someone tried to do, they don't get out of the. They don't get out. They don't try. They can't escape the trap or the, well, in this case, the deduction, by psychologically understanding who he is observing or tracking or working with. And that was fascinating to see. I wish they went more into it, but it was still good.
It was. It really was. Pretty well done.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch, and eventually we get to see at the end Watson and Sherlock go for drinks. Someone is watching them. So was it ever said if it was Fred or Moycroft that was watching them have drinks?
I'm pretty sure that's Moriarty. Pretty
Is
sure
it?
that's James. William James.
It was either it's hard it was kind of hard to tell. It was either Moriarty, I think it was, well, Lewis always wears glasses, so that had to be Moriarty.
Okay, because
Which
I
the I brought up like the whole thing that Lewis made about the how he addressed him so casually. The fact that Sherlock keeps calling him Liam
Instead of William, it's just
instead of
Liam.
William.
yeah,
He's not even just normal kind of informal with him. Like he's not uh he's it's not just like not using his honorific. No, he is literally referring to he's giving him a nickname based off his normal name, going about as
yeah.
informal as you possibly could.
Do you think Moriarty wishes he could be friends with Sherlock? Do you think he would call? Do you think he would call Sherlock Locke?
Sherry.
What is it, honey? They would make good husbands.
You stop that.
Listen, as much as I'm not like a big shipper, I do love indulging in the occasional ship trash.
I Look, I have feelings about those ships that still happen on every iteration of Sherlock that happens, and it upsets me.
Listen, the show isn't like pushing them as a couple; they're pushing them as friends, if anything.
And I
Well,
love
yes, it's they always portray them as friends, and everyone makes this romantic angle because the internet is awful.
it.
Is this why you don't like Adachi?
There's multiple reasons I don't like Adachi, and none of them have to do with this.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to say that.
uh,
I I hate the romantic angle push that all the internet likes to make for this. I really do.
It's not because the
I
internet's a bad place, it's just because the internet is lonely.
no, the internet is a bad place, Dalron. There's no refuting that.
Uh,
look. The issue is that I I can't even really call the internet a bad place. People were already this way. The internet gave them a place where they can do it anonymously.
Yeah, before we used to euthanize all of the Sherlock and Moriarty shippers. Now we can't.
Meep, you just hear
Before
chanting in the dark recess of the internet, one of us, one of
before
us.
no, before what they did was they wrote down a letter and sent it anonymously to their local paper and hoped they'd publish their little fan fiction story.
And then Moriarty bent Sherlock over the jail toilet.
I was gonna ask, who do you think is the top in that relationship? William or
Don't you
Sherlock?
ignore me.
I don't want to answer that, and I won't answer that.
Sherlock is definitely the top. Moriarty is too pretty to be the top.
William is power bottom.
Do you think Lewis watches?
Okay. That's his actual brother.
Okay, fine. Do you think Albert watches?
I just saw chat. I saw a number of chat just go BRB and just leave.
I don't blame them. I do not blame them.
Shall we hold up cards?
Yes.
I live for outrage comedy.
I'm going to fuck this show because I continue to love it. It was a surprising note for a finale. It really was. I'm it's and also an 11 episode finale, 11 episode show ending on a finale for a 13 episode continuation is really weird to me, but whatever. Um it got on a good cliffhanger and I'm excited to see where it's going to go. Uh obviously now apparently they're supposed I'm really, really pumped to see the inclusion of Mycroft and how they're going to use him. And I hope it's used well. But yeah, I'm going to fuck this show, and we're going to stop that conversation we had before.
Okay, can we ask about then? Before we tell her on hold up our cards, let's talk about the Queen.
The Queen!
Oh,
Look at me.
it's
Look
good
at
to-
me. Sherlock. This
Who
is
is
the
the
Queen.
who is the current queen during this era? I don't. Did they say a name?
It should be.
Or do they
It
just
should be
say-
Elizabeth II, right?
Is it?
I think it. I think Queen Victoria was the queen when, because they don't have automobiles yet, but they have trains.
And I don't know if I said this last time, but man, the backgrounds and setting pieces in this show are gorgeous. The amount of attention they put on like the train detail, we got a lot more of it last episode, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, they don't have automobiles yet, but they have trains, so it would have to be Queen Victoria, because when it comes to corrupt queens, she's as corrupt as you can get.
Victoria was the Queen of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth, reigning 1st of May 1876 to 22nd of January 1901. Hence the term Victorian
Yeah.
era. The character Sherlock Holmes' career was based on a time between 1877 and 1903, with at least
Okay,
two cases after his retirement in 1907 and 1914.
Okay, so it would
You know,
be Queen Victoria.
now that we've had the introduction of the Queen, all I'm sitting here is thinking, do you think they're going to do you think they're going to do the classic where where there's going to be a theft of the royal jewels?
Yes.
Probably,
Because
because
that is a classic.
Queen Victoria is the antithesis of bad noble, which is why I
No,
think.
you said that wrong. She is the thesis. Antithesis means the opposite of.
Sorry, she's the thesis of bad noble, which is why I think next season is going to have to do with Moriarty killing the Queen and Sherlock, because someone stole a document. I'm 900% certain it's not Sherlock that stole that document. And who's the one we know that hates Noble?
So here's another question. So multiple times on this show, we've joked about Sherlock Yukoku no Moriarty being called a shonen, right?
Yeah,
Well, I've specifically stated that it's listed as one in one of its things before.
yeah, and
Yes,
it
yes.
appeared in Jump.
But this is what I'm saying. So if it's a shonen and we're having this like 12 episode season or like this like 11 episode season and a second season's already confirmed, could we be seeing could this be the beginning of a long-standing series?
No, because the manga is finished, and this season was adapting half the manga.
Okay. Because I wouldn't mind like an interesting take on this where it's like long term kind of episodes where, maybe that's why they're not going really into the greatest of details because they want to keep it running for multiple seasons. But if that's not the case, then I don't know.
Yeah,
Killing the Queen is pretty extreme.
I mean, you
well,
know how it can be with shows that are meant to have short runs, though. If they go well enough, they'll continue it. And it'll be anime only, which could be a good or bad thing.
Hmm.
Because that's something that
Dalaran,
has happened before.
Hmm.
Moriarty is an extremist for a reason.
Well, then I'm looking forward to season 2 being absolutely fucking nuts.
Like, killing the Queen is one of the classic Sherlock tropes, or stealing her jewels is one of the classic
The
tropes,
Joels, yeah.
and with how this Moriarty has been, I think instead of stealing the jewels, it will be killing the Queen.
We'll see. I also see him stealing the jewels so that he can how do I put this? Stealing the jewels will be like the way he gets Sherlock to fully come after him, with full intent, like make Sherlock go 100%.
Mm. Well, I'm ready to hold up my card.
Do it.
I mean, fuck Joe.
Oh, sorry, really quick. Gilly, is there anything else you would like to say about the show?
Mycroft has that very sinister, charming, handsome going on. That's it.
I thought
That's
that
sweet.
was I thought that was the general at first when I first saw him.
I could see that.
Take it away, Amy.
I already held up my card. It's your turn.
Say it again.
Okay, I'm gonna fuck this show. It's really good.
Yeah, me too. I'm fucking this show. While I wish it was just a little bit more smarter and just a little bit more clever, that's not. Yeah, it's more clever. Anyway, uh, I my brain froze just now because I'm like, man, I wish this show was smarter and more clever, and then I fuck up saying cleverer, and I'm like, oh well, that's just me shoving my foot in my mouth. But I want to see more of the deductive process, and I want to see more of the cerebral analysis especially from William. I'm very interested in seeing how they introduce Mycroft. He's going to be a foil to both Sherlock and William Moriarty. Um, and while I'm sad to see the season end, I was really looking forward to watching the. I was really looking forward to the next episode being the finale. Come April, I believe we're gonna get more, and yeah, I will be picking this show up again and continuing on because it's interesting. It's sometimes silly and over the top, but I am enjoying it. That's all there really is to it. Since this is the finale, I'm not blown away by this show, but I am thoroughly impressed, and I really enjoyed my time with it. Every episode, not a single episode really lost me. Uh, as far as the finale goes, I think this is like the weakest of the episodes in terms of like plot, but seeing William and Sherlock work together to solve an unrelated crime together was a blast. And it sets up even more of this kind of melodramatic and romantic relationship between them. Not romantic as in sexual, but just a lot of feelings there. So yeah, here's to the next season.
Yeah, a show I have not been very warm on. Ikebukuro Westgate Park, episode 11.
Gilly held up his card?
Yeah, he did. He did early when we were talking about Sherlock and Moriarty as a couple.
Okay.
Right? You did Gilly, right?
Yes, I did.
Sorry, I was the one not paying attention to Gilly. My bad.
Gun, as I put to you, Dallin.
He's just always talking. He never shuts up.
No, that's me.
No, it's okay. Most people don't pay attention to me. I'm used to
There's the sad setup.
it.
Ikebukuro West. Speaking of sad setups that make me sad, Ikebukuro Westgate Park, episode 11. Feuds between the Red Angels and G-Boys continue to grow as the Red Angels second has a member killed and pins it on the G-Boys. Even though there's not been any indication that he's evil. And after Mitsuki shoots Takashi and frames Makoto, war breaks out across the city. Makoto's mother is hit by a fucking car, and he sets out to figure out who set him up. Am I the only one that thinks fucking second in command Red Angel's boy being evil? Am I the only one that thinks that's dumb?
I mean, I saw it coming. I've been saying, I don't trust that twink. And not because he's a twink, it's just something about him doesn't sit right with me. He's always involved, and he's getting involved in all of Makoto's business.
In retrospective, looking at the way he acted now, I was surprised at first, but looking back, I'm like, he has been kind of uncomfortably nice and diplomatic and amenable throughout this entire thing, and it didn't click for me that felt off.
I fucking told you guys. He is being nice, but he's also super intrusive, and I was like, why is he there? Why is he, like, insisting on meeting all of Makoto's contacts? And lo and behold, fuck that guy. You know what? I'm gonna switch to his stupid fucking face.
You can have this about being right about Ikebukuro. I'll stick to being right about Akudama Drive. They fucked Delaron. Get over it.
Get fucked. That being said,
it didn't mean anything though.
I know.
Also, we got to see him naked.
We all know that his body may have been there, but his mind was remembering his Aniki and how much he misses him.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Hoodlum and Doctor.
Oh, why did we get there? What the fuck? I'm talking about what's his face.
Show.
Let's focus on Ikebukuro Westgate Park, guys. And the second in command, whose name I forget, is scumsucker and a snake and a worm, and we get to see him naked, and then he does the evil. It's a good scene, right?
The really creepy, wide, toothy smile where their eyes are covered up by their hair. That yes.
Yeah, and it's a good setup for episode 12, I guess, but it's also not that good. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I thought the opening to this episode, not the song, but the opening scene, the interlude, there we go. The interlude to this episode was very bad. Like, I get that they want to build intrigue and mystery, but this is not how you do it. It just came off super contrived and kind of forced. Yes, there was the after credit scene last episode which showed the Blues, the G Boys, and the Red Angels fighting in the street, which was like, oh, war's coming. But like, there was the last 3 episodes, we had no inklings of that, and then this episode just opens up with Makoto being chased down by G Boys. King is dead, bleeding out. I'm just gonna put on that image again, and yeah, King is dead. Apparently, Makoto shot him. Makoto's got a gun. And then the Red Angels show up, and I'm like, okay, did Makoto side with the Red Angels? Then they all start fighting, and they're all after Makoto, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
A lot.
I know we theorized at some point Makoto would have to get a gun because of what he deals with. I didn't think this would be the way he got it.
Oh, we got some spam bots in chat. Gonna delete you boys.
Oh. I have... Sorry.
Bad mod.
Yeah. You know, there was no lead-in into this at all. There was absolutely none, aside from the end credits last time, which I did watch. Yes, it was horribly animated. You are right in that front.
It was not good. I mean, combat hasn't always been the strong suit of the show, so I kind of get it, but it was not good.
If this show had been building this up for more than just 2 episodes, because I am counting 3, if we count the first episode, and then the first episode where the Red Angels show up, and then the other 2 that they're involved. Like, this show has not... It... While you say in retrospect, the kid being way overly friendly and intrusive tipped you guys off, well, in retrospect, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, there could have been more context clues that war was coming.
Specifically, the war was coming. And I get it, like, they were trying to set up this big reveal for when he does everything this episode, but, like, we needed to see more. Like, I get it, he's working with whoever the group is from episode 1. I like the concept that they are still, like, they're this big player that all the way from episode 1, this group has been working in the background. But, the whole war is, like, I understood the narrative structure of this show, right? Like, I understood what they're trying to do. I've been saying, like, oh, well, the Red Angels now have more power in the Ikebukuro, and we know there's going to be a fight. And I love the opening theme and the opening video, but, like, we are not getting any of that. King is on the ground, bleeding out. Knight is nowhere to be seen. The Red Angel leader is, like, super fucking powerful and full of vengeance now. And, like, this isn't how I thought it was going to go. Which is okay, right? Like, the show isn't supposed to do what I want it to do. That's okay. But I don't like what it's doing either.
It doesn't have to, but that doesn't mean we have to like it.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean we have to enjoy the show. I, for one, am just sitting here thinking, why did this show have to have an overarching plot if it wanted to be episodic? Like, this is my problem with shows that are episodic that try to do big overarching stories, is that they're just there's at least one ball that's going to be dropped there. You have to weigh something more than the other. And in this, its episodic nature was weighed heavily over its overarching story. And the overarching story felt that. Like, imagine how impactful this would have been if we would have known more about these characters, if this may have been this big overarching thing. How much more impact there would be if we cared more about these gangs. Like if we had more members in the G Boys that we liked, like, oh, there's G Boy number 3, G Boy number 4, Makoto has these friend A3, B, C in the G Boys, but he also has these friends in the Red Angels.
I think
And
that's
if
a
they would have,
different show.
that's a different show, but at the same time, there's still the whole issue of it's trying to be episodic, but it's also trying to now have a large story. It's
I
hard to balance between that. And I don't think the show did it well.
we've argued about this a lot in throughout this whole season, and I do like the narrative structure of the show. The look into Japan, the way Makoto is involved, but because it doesn't focus on the gang members, except for the leaders and the second in commands, uh, you know, Makoto stays uninvolved with them, and we can experience everything that's happening in the world. And I like the setups for everything except this because it is largely lacking in the setup. And I disagree with you with everything up until this episode because, like I said, I wish they gave a they showed us more, and now it's just like they're showing everything now, and it's supposed to be a big reveal, and I don't know how I feel about it. Gilly, you've been quiet. Where are you sitting on this episode and how it showed us the process of events? Because I'll say one last thing, if they had killed King off screen, no less, I would have stopped the episode right there and then. But they did show us the process of events, which good. Still shitty because they took out King, but I'll get to that more. Gilly, I'm very curious.
Getting shot in the head. Oh
Hmm.
no.
Come now, Gilly. Certainly you have thoughts on this. Can't tell if
Uh,
Gilly. Oh, he's here.
I'm I'm not sure. I still had a decent time with it, but I'm not sure how to feel.
It even left you in that state, huh? Of not know. Yeah, because I peek behind the curtain.
It was just a lot. It was just very all over the place, so it was hard to keep track of.
Yeah, yeah. I have a friend who's been really on this show's wavelength. Even this episode left him kind of want to kill it. So, I know it's just all over the place. And as someone that hasn't been enjoying it up to this point, just kind of cements me not liking the show. It's it's not horrible, but it's not fantastic. It's a constant C to B student, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, this episode does feel. At least this episode thus far does feel that way. I do like
Yeah,
how
it's
I do like how Makoto's jacket is purple, both red and blue, and he's got the little Usagi bunny on it, which is I enjoyed Makoto's presence in this, and but this episode it feels like this episode did everything it could to set up the finale. And I think three things here could have been done over the last three episodes or two episodes instead of all now. Like King getting whacked was, the kid who shot him, they never showed him taking drugs before, and now he's obviously on the drug that was from the episode one, right? Or like in the opening, you see the dude crash a car and his like tongue falls out, and he's obviously high as fuck.
mhm.
Like, I like
Some-
the idea of what they're doing. I don't like how they're doing it.
it's like Dragon Ball GT. Concept is good, execution is poopy.
Unless you guys have other things to say and I'll chime in, I'm gonna save the rest of my thoughts for when I hold up my cards.
I was very. The fuck was that guy? The fuck was that person doing when they decided, hey, I'm just gonna drive right through the fruit stand?
I think the car was empty, like they purposely hit his
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah, because when you see the car driving, there's no driver. It was someone trying to get revenge on Fruit Tart, though. That's my current belief.
Stupid.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything else to say. Gilly?
Uh, no, I'm good.
All right. I'll start off. Was anyone expecting anything different? Like, was anyone expecting me to make a different choice? I'm gonna kill this show. It's I I wish this show could have been better for me. I wish its episodic nature could have done more for me, but this is the issue I have with shows that are trying to be both episodic and story focused. It's like originally it was because I went into the show with a different expectation that I wasn't feeling it, but even now that I've aligned my expectations to what the show is going to be, the episodic nature doesn't do much for me. The overarching story isn't doing anything for me. I don't feel any weight or setup. I'm gonna kill this show. I'm not happy I couldn't enjoy this, but like like I want to be clear. This isn't like Kuma Bear where it's a happy kill each time. I'm happily killing Kuma Bear each episode because I just don't like it. It's never done anything for me. But the first three episodes, you saw me fucking and going like, yeah, no, but this wasn't the thing I was expecting. I was more expecting gang violence and that, and now I just see where things could have been executed much better, where things could have had more room to breathe, and I'm gonna kill the show. Not a happy kill, but
Gilly, before you go, just the Meep, well said. First things first. Well said. But I did laugh when you said 100%. Like, you guys you saw me fucking, and I'm like, like 100% seriously. We're out of context of this show. That'd be ridiculous.
you you saw Makoto's mother bent over the fruit stand. You chose not to tell anyone.
Yeah, I don't want to kill this show. It's like, guys, in the beginning, you saw me fucking, and I'm like, yep, we sure did. Gilly.
Makoto's mother is a milf, though.
Yeah, Makoto's mom's cool. She would bend you backwards, though. Anyway, Gilly.
Uh,
I'm gonna fuck this show because I still had a good time. It was more confusing, but I'm not unhappy, and I want to see where this ends because that's it. We have one more episode left. It's the rising conclusion of all of this.
and in a frustrating turn of events, Dalaran is gonna kill the show. No.
So I'm the tiebreaker, huh?
Yes.
Uh, uh, I'm captivated by the story that this show has put out thus far. Both the because like it's hard to say A plot B plot because this show does kind of adapt a hybrid episodic narrative structure, and I've really enjoyed it up until and I've really enjoyed it thus far. Like I I'm with Gilly. I want to see how this story ends. Like I want to see how everything goes. But this episode just didn't do it for me. Everything went down way too quick, and not nearly enough of it felt set up and established. Like, I felt like I missed an episode. I felt like I skipped over an episode accidentally because shit was just going down. It was familiar characters in an unfamiliar scenario. Um, Maybe that was the point. Like, maybe the show's intention was that we would be as lost as Makoto in all of what was happening. Like, we were supposed to, really feel it from Makoto's standpoint, where he just got absolutely blindsided that everything occurred. Um, but it lost me. The opening bit didn't do it for me at all. I actively didn't like it. I paused and I'm like, what the fuck? And they took King out. Like, in the climax of the story, they took King out of play, which admittedly is smart on the enemy's part, right? Like, whoever the bad guys, whoever the people who are plotting against everyone, that is smart from their perspective, and I appreciate that. But that takes a really powerful and a really cool character out of the equation. And I, for one, really wanted to see King shine here. And I know, like, Meep, you've been complaining that, like, King doesn't get enough and, like, he doesn't really feel like a character. This was his moment to really be him. And to be that badass we saw in that episode with the VTuber, with the YouTuber, and with the hammer. It's just, and they just took him out. Like I said, I like the show, and I do like the show, and I recommend it to people still. And I am going to watch next week's episode because I want to see how it ends. But this episode is getting the knife. I'm not happy about it. This wasn't good. This show set up expectations not for what's going to happen, but how it's going to get it done, and it broke its own rules. I really wanted to see how the first episode things tie back. I was really excited last week to see it coming. And if I could watch the finale right now, I absolutely would. I would have stopped watching it yesterday, and I would have went right into it and finished the show, even though I didn't like this episode. But because I have to wait for next week, and because everything felt rushed, and they just killed the poor boy, this episode is getting the knife. I like the show, but I'm killing this episode.
In a shocking turn of events, Dalaran has sealed Ikubukuro's fate. And while I think all three of us are going to be watching the finale, it has died in the FMK. Well, actually, I don't know. Depends on how much time I have. I might not watch it.
Next week, I will gladly talk about it in the Graveyard Tour, but I have to, like, we are supposed to vote with our hearts, and we're supposed to be on, and like I want to be as honest to my feelings. I could forgive this episode for all the good that the show has done, but this is the big moment, and it wasn't done well. Sorry, Gilly, I think I cut you off there.
I didn't say anything.
You just you're phantoms in my ears, man.
Well, I think that... yeah, that's everyone. That... Ikebukuro was dead! Oh my god, okay. I'm sorry, that just has me... huh. This is what I love about doing this show with you guys each week, is the surprises that get thrust onto me. Like Gilly killing Akudama Drive. Dalaran killing Ikebukuro, but now I'm fearing for Akudama Drive. And we'll get to that later. Okay.
I want to say really quick. This season, you say that, and like I'm sitting here smiling because I'm really enjoying your reaction to this. I didn't think this would be so unexpected from me, but the fact that this has happened, like I love it. This has been a pretty consistent season over the last 3-4 episodes that we've had. I have consistently fucked every show. We joke and we laugh about it. We tease each other about it, where it's like Dalaran, like kill something, or like nothing dies. Another episode and nothing dies. This is a really, really good season of anime. Like I love anime, and like I'm forgiving, like because I want to give everything its fair shake. But when you get to the end, the shows have established rules, and I don't like things that break their own rules at the end. and I will call it out. And I'm just glad we have an upset.
Yeah, this is unprecedented. A first in FMK anime history. I am sorry we killed another one of your babies, Gilly. Don't worry, next season you guys will probably kill my luck. So, um, Jujutsu Kaisen episode 12. Everyone, Yuji and Junpei battle until Itadori makes him vulnerable and asks what's wrong. Mahito comes in and turns Junpei into a curse, and Itadori shouts that despite all of his convictions, he will kill Mahito. As it turns out, he is able to damage the shape of Mahito's soul, and Nanami comes in to assist Itadori. If anyone came to me asking if they had to watch one shonen, what would they watch? I would point them to not My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen. This peak of this episode reaches just as high, or if not higher, than the peak that My Hero Academia reached in season 2. This show handles Itadori's emotion, his weight, everything so masterfully this episode. His hatred, Yuji's rage to Mahito is so believable and so emotional and impactful. It has been a long time since an anime has been able to draw such raw emotion out of me feel for its character. Itadori is the best part of this show, hands down. Holy fuck, guys. This episode is the best of Jujutsu Kaisen so far, and I will not budge.
I agree.
This show handled everything so well this episode. I was in fucking awe after watching it. The sound, the OST they released during that scene, Yuji's rage, the art and animation. The mangaka saw people saying that this was just a generic shonen and he elevated it up a level, and the anime elevated it beyond even that. I I have no words.
There's plenty to discuss in this episode, but as far as the overall vibe that I have, Meep said it already. I agree wholeheartedly. Well said.
What about Gilly? How are you feeling on this episode?
Eh.
Oh, I feel
I
like
honestly
Gilly.
did not have as good a time with this as I have previously.
Oh shit! I don't hear. Okay, tell us why.
Tell
us why.
I really don't know. It just didn't feel as good.
Hmm.
Indeed.
Really, all I could say about it. It just didn't.
Did you still have a fun time with it at least?
I still enjoyed watching. Yeah, I just didn't have as good a time with it as I have been.
Really? Because this, admittedly, this is the most serious episode we've had. Admittedly. Like, this is the most serious and most emotional episode we've had. It's nowhere near as lighthearted. There's no comedy this episode. I don't think there was a single joke.
We've
Like,
talked
we
about this
got super.
show. We've talked about the show being tropey, but doing the tropes well, and I felt like this was very tropey and did them exactly like every other show does. I didn't feel anything special out of it.
Can you elaborate on that?
Just a lot of the emotional moments and scenes just felt like I was watching a replay of so many different shonen.
Really, I personally, with me, I have to disagree on that. I felt so much more emotion out of both the voice actor's delivery and the emotion and character development of Itadori. Just realizing he has been so anti-murder, anti-killing, and he doesn't say he's going to exercise Mahito, and even Mahito jokes. He says he's going to kill him, and Itadori doesn't want to kill because he doesn't want the lives of those close to him to mean less. And this was such a breaking point for Itadori that he would say he has the intent to kill. It was so emotional. It brought such raw emotion out of me. And hey, you're valid for feeling the way you do. I'm not gonna sit here and say you're wrong feeling that way. I just personally disagree.
The thing that catches me the most about what you said, Gilly, is that you said, like, I agree, this isn't anything groundbreakingly new, but I think it's still incredibly well done. Like, it stands out. Like, a lot of this stands out to me. However, I'll get to what stands out to me the most in this episode after we discuss this a bit more. But yeah, Gilly, I'm surprised to hear you say that it doesn't really stand out for you either.
It just doesn't feel like anything unique, anything special from what I've seen with this kind of thing just done over and over again.
Okay, but even if it's not unique or special, do you feel like it's good?
There have only been a handful of situations where I feel like that they don't that I've had where they didn't where I didn't feel like a show did something like this well and it was done well. It's just I can't sit here and put it on a pedestal as something breakout because it didn't feel any different than what I'm used to.
Okay, okay, fair. Okay, I see.
Don't worry, Jujutsu. I'll put you on a pedestal. You are. I'm just sitting here rubbing Gojo's forehead. Don't worry.
Yeah, where is Gojo
Yeah.
during all this?
I think it's implied he's training the other years. I think it's implied he's training the other students.
Speaking of the
'Cause,
other years, we're done with Fushiguro and Nobara?
I think they're gonna show up in the second core again.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have taken really anything out of this episode because, like last week I said, oh man, this episode was like all set up, but unlike with Ikebukuro Escape Park, it still gave me something. Um, and for me, like, what a payoff, far and beyond. And are you guys? Do we want to talk about Gilly? Do you want to elaborate more, or is everyone okay if I jump into like the thing that really stood out to me this episode?
I mean, I can point out the one thing I enjoyed the most out of this episode, which wasn't any of the emotional moments, but I had a very strong drawing and enjoyment out of when Mahito uh tried to change Itadori's body and Sukuna just said, "The fuck you doing?"
Who's no baby?
Yeah.
What is you doing in my? What
Just-
bills you pay in my house?
He just said because what was it? It's because he respects him. He'll give him this once.
No,
but
not even
never
because he
again.
respects him. Because we both made fun of the brat. I'll let
Oh
you.
yeah, because they had a moment of like making fun of Itadori and laughing together for a minute. He'll let this happen
Yeah.
once.
and that went really well to show that Sukuna is still a curse. He's not on Itadori's side.
No, he never was.
And that was extremely well because a lot of people, I've been seeing they've been watching the anime. They're like, oh yeah, Sukuna and Itadori, they're partners. No, they're not.
Nah, I hate to
Sukuna is
break it to
still
you,
a
but
bird.
you. Sorry, hate to break it to you, but you did not get it. Not you, me, but
It.
Sukuna is
Yeah,
just
no.
here to keep this vessel alive for him while he's enacting whatever his plans are, because he's got something going on. He has some
I.
kind of plan he's working towards.
I just
Oh
love
yeah.
Sukuna's whole thing where he's just like, "Who the fuck do you think you are to touch my soul?"
Also,
Yeah. No.
every time we teleport to the location Sukuna's in, I always find it interesting because he's just on this pile of I'm not sure exactly what it is. It seems like bodies in
Oh yeah, it's
inside of Itadori because you can see like the ribs and such.
yeah. That or he like slayed a dragon or some kind of titanic beast.
I think, at least for me, I think it's supposed to be an indication of like the inside of Itadori's body since they're cohabitating it.
Yeah. The There was actually a part of this episode, before we jump to what you were saying, Dalaran, there was a part of this episode that made me tear up, and it was when Junpei and Itadori were fighting, and Junpei was talking about how people were cursing him, and Itadori just stops and he says, then let's talk. Let's talk, and I won't curse you anymore. And it just, that made me tear up, just Itadori working to talk through things. Instead of being big meathead, puncho puncho, and his emotion, you can tell Itadori feels bad that Junpei's mom died because he said, wait, your mom?
Junpei didn't know. Junpei didn't know. Itadori did not know.
Yeah, and that, man, the emotional moments in this episode were done so well, and I absolutely love. I fully believe, give this show enough times, give it a couple more, give it another season, and I think it will overtake My Hero's place in my heart. Because while My Hero is still currently my favorite shonen, Jujutsu Kaisen got really close with this episode. This
So,
episode
sorry, go
is
on.
so good. The fight, everything about it.
So, Meep, you actually brought me exactly to where I was going to go. My favorite thing about this episode, the fight between Junpei and Itadori is cool. Like, Junpei's whole thing is like this jellyfish moon dirges or something, or moon dregs. If it's dregs, that's depressing. If it's dirges, that's kind of interesting. And it's a really cool way because like Junpei's abilities kind of it's like the counter to Junpei, Itadori, because Itadori's all puncho puncho, and Junpei just has this jellyfish that does not take any kind of blunt or physical attacks. It just eats it. Um, the fight is good, and everything that happens afterwards between him and Patchwork Mahito is also really good. Just seeing Mahito get his shit stomped for a bit was awesome. And there's things I actually didn't like about that fight, so we'll get to that in a second. Shonen bullshit, and speaking of shonen bullshit, like that was the build up, right? That Itadori is going to come, and he's going to do the shonen thing, where shonen protagonist yells about friendship and acceptance and forgiveness to the enemy, and they become friends. We see Junpei in the opening with that was the kid that Meep has been teasingly calling Sasuke this whole time. We saw the build up about that, for the last 2 episodes, not including this one. And my favorite thing about this episode is Junpei's breakdown, like Meep was just talking about, how he was talking about how, like, I can't believe that humans and people have hearts, because that means that the people who curse me and my mother for just being on ourselves and just living our own lives, not bothering anyone, also have hearts. And he's been hurt so much by people that he can no longer accept the fact that everyone has a heart, because that means accepting and forgiving the pain. And that scene was resoundingly sad, like just heart-wrenchingly sad and destitute to the point where, like, as anyone who's felt pain knows how Junpei feels. And then the show does something that we didn't really expect. Now, I don't know if Mahito shows up and transforms Junpei into a beast, basically, into one of those monstrous human cursed things that he does. And the show implies that Junpei dies. Now, I want to bring this up to the table, whether or not you all think if Junpei's dead or not, because we could do the shonen route where he's not actually dead and we find a miraculous cure, or if Junpei is dead, and this is where I disagree, Gilly, where you said like the show's kind of tropey and it didn't do anything unique. If Junpei is dead, because when Junpei dies, right before Itadori's rage breaks, I'm just gonna switch over to that slide again. Itadori says it as if Junpei is dead. Like, it really makes it seem that way. And then we get the flash scene of Itadori, Nobara, Fushiguro, and Junpei in Jujutsu sorcerer clothing and Jujutsu tech uniform, all laughing on the street, and then it fades and Itadori goes into a rage. If this show...
It fades and shows that glitch effect that it shows in the opening with Itadori laughing with Junpei.
Yep. If this show, in its opening, as well as, you know, our looks into Itadori's mind, faked us out that Junpei was going to be a part of the cast. That Junpei, like, oh, it's shonen. Yeah, we see Junpei in the opening. He's gonna become friends. They're gonna fight, and the power of friendship would prevail and heal all things. If they kill Junpei right now, if they do that, that's amazing. I hate it. It's gonna hurt. Because I even made it in my notes, like, because Meep, you brought this up last week, either in the show or afterwards, how in the opening you now see all the friends, all the second years, all the Nanami, the West Tech, the Kyoto School, you see them all having the picnic. And I'm like, that's really sweet and wholesome. I like that a lot. Also, they did add everyone to the picnic scene. That is gonna suck when the show starts killing characters off. And then they did this with Junpei. If the show does this, Gilly, I don't know how you can call it not unique, because fucking hell, man.
The only way I see Junpei living is if Itadori grabs that pinky and rams it down that curse's throat like, no, heal him! Heal him!
Where is the pinky?
I think it's assumed that Junpei has it. Because Mahito says, oh, we used that relic, wasn't that important? And then Geto goes, no, I want Sukuna to be stronger.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. What do we think? Is Junpei dead?
I think he's dead, but if the show does bring something out to bring him back, it would have to do with the pinky. And then, while I wouldn't be as satisfied, that would open up for an interesting possibility of 2 Sukanas in Sukuna. So that I would be able to forgive it, because that would be interesting to see.
Now coming to a Florida resort near you, Sukuna Land.
2.5 Sukanas.
Oh, no.
Who's the half? Their child.
There it is.
Oh.
I have 2 ideas about where they're gonna go with that. One is that they will pull the stereotypical thing and fix him somehow. The other is that the flashes we're seeing, the things we're seeing in the opening, the things he's imagining, I could also see this as being a moment of trauma where Itadori just keeps seeing Junpei everywhere, thinking he's still there.
Oh.
Junpei Silverhand over here.
Kind of in a way like Junpei's ghost haunting him in a sort of loose way.
What if he absorbs Junpei into himself?
that was kind of like half of what I was thinking, is that somehow Junpei is just now part of Itadori, either in a spiritual, metaphorical way or in a literal way.
What if
Oh,
Itadori eats
Junpei put
Junpei?
his soul into the finger.
Like that is what I'm thinking, that it's one of that they'll probably try and go with one of those two options. If they just flat out kill him and then leave it there, then that will be different. That will be very different. That's not usually what they do. Uh, but I'm feeling one of those. I'm feeling like it'll be one of those two. It'll just be some kind of figure out how to cure him, or this this like becoming part of Itadori kind of thing.
Yeah, man. I like Junpei. I do. I feel I teared up, and I teared up a lot in his scene when he was just finally letting his pain out, like just vocalizing it. Because I get it, man. Like I get it. As anyone who's faced cruelty and mean spiritedness for no understandable reason from the I almost don't want the show to bring him back, because I think that would be an incredible narrative decision and narrative action to take.
I don't want the show to bring him back either. If they use him as a source of trauma for Itadori, or if in some way Itadori eats the finger and some of Junpei's soul is there and he ends up being Junpei Silverhand, I would be okay with that too, because that'd be interesting. But man, this was a really good episode, and I loved this show. In a odd way, is about death and accepting death. And this is, I think, the first death Itadori has seen that he can't accept.
Man, fuck my grandpa. He sucks.
And
He mean.
well, in Itadori's convictions, his grandpa died a worthy death, a death of natural causes surrounded by someone who loves him. But this is the first time Itadori sees someone, like actually sees. Sure, he saw a dead body, but this is the first time he sees the act of murder in front of him, and it's someone he considered a friend, and it shakes him to his core. He lets go of his convictions. That scene is so amazing. It's just this haunting scene with the OST titled Yuji's Rage playing in the background. And you just hear him somberly saying, "It made me feel like everything I had been saying was a lie. And then I shouted those words, 'I will kill you.'" And we don't hear him shout it. We hear somber Itadori recite it. And it's so powerful. It's so much more powerful that way. Just hearing it in that somber voice, knowing that he has regret, but it's just such raw emotion. Oh, I just had a thought. If curses are made of raw emotion, maybe Itadori's raw emotion will make curse Junpei.
Oh, no, no Shadow Junpei, please.
Well, Batman! Just like the Joker in Arkham Asylum, or not Arkham
Nah,
Asylum, Arkham.
nah. We're gonna have the principal use his powers to make a Junpei doll.
No! Just uses his skin to make a doll. Ew!
Yeah, but then that would require Junpei dying again. So, damn it, Itadori. Fuck, why do I keep doing this today?
The man. So what was it about the fight you didn't like? Because I'm actually curious, Dal.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about the fight. And Mahito just getting his shit stomped.
Yeah, cathartic.
No, I love that. I loved Mahito getting his shit stomped, because he feels like he's invincible, because his body can constantly be recreated as he reshapes his soul, and then Itadori's magical powers, as well as having his two souls in him kind of allows him to pierce and hit him in its very soul. And I thought that was great because it put Mahito in his place. And all the shit that Mahito has done, topped off with him potentially killing Junpei just now. Seeing him get his shit rocked from the first time when he gets decked in the face by Itadori, which just like fucking flash steps into his face. Just seeing him fall back and his nose start to bleed and being like, oh, what the fuck is this? I'm bleeding? And even Nanami being like, hey kid, how'd you do it? He's like, oh, I punched him really hard. Cool. All that is great. The one thing I don't like about the fight is that Itadori has like 7 holes in his, like, he has like 4 holes in his chest, and like, he should be dead. Itadori should be dead.
I just like to imagine, like, it's like the end of original Dragon Ball with after Goku beats Piccolo at the World Martial Arts Tournament. You missed all of my vital organs. All of them? Yes, all of them.
All of them? Yeah, no. Itadori got like 4 or 5 spikes in the chest and abdomen. He got his hands literally have holes in them. And he got hit really fucking hard, like what, in the gut, like in the kidney and the stomach area with Junpei's attack, which was a considerably large drill, and he took it to kind of try to save Junpei from his rage and pain. And he was like dripping barely anything. And his holes were just black holes in his chest and his hands, and he could still fight and hit as if his muscular integrity was fine. It's shonen bullshit, and I was like, okay, fine, sure, it's shonen, woo.
That's the part where I say it's generic shonen. Like, that was the most generic shonen this show has gotten. And even then, we've seen My Hero step into that lines where, yes, Midoriya's arms are broken. Let me break them again!
Well, that's the thing. My Hero actually, that's one of the things I really like My Hero Academia for, is the fact that it showed the main character getting hurt in fights and having consequences for it. Sure, those consequences are virtually unimportant because I can just heal you. Your lifespan is going to be shorter, but who gives a fuck? It's a TV show. No one cares about you when you're 80. Just your life right now.
It can now.
Yeah, but basically, that's the one thing I didn't like about the fight. The whole thing with Itadori versus Junpei was great. I mean, for fuck's sake. Yo, Junpei got Itadori. Homie threw Junpei 3 flights of, like, he threw him up 3 flights into a window.
This is also the show where we saw Sukuna kick fucking Fushiguro through solid concrete buildings, and he continued through like Broly in the Broly movie. I can suspend my disbelief. Because getting thrown through buildings would probably knock any regular man unconscious. Getting thrown through 20 buildings would make Superman sweat.
Fine. Don't like that either, though. We made fun of that then. We made fun of that too, and now we're gonna make fun of this.
I'm making fun of it now, too. We can make fun of it. Look, it's the generic shonen thing.
Look, Jujutsu sorcerers are just built differently.
They're Super Saiyans. They're Jujutsu Saiyajin.
Listen, Itadori just made a shield out of his cursed energies, and it's keeping his blood in.
I don't know, man. Homie got thrown up 3 flights. Like, who does that? The disrespect.
If you got knocked through multiple walls, you'd be turned to jello. Fushiguro, nah, not me. I'm built different.
Speaking of all the action and shonen, we got like JoJo's level, like the image still I have right now of Mahito getting his face smashed by Itadori. We get like JoJo's level of like people getting beat to shit here. And as if that wasn't enough, yo, tell me you guys didn't see that fucking Junpei was JoJo posing the whole show.
I've never seen a JoJo series, so.
He
Junpei was
really
striking
was.
all sorts of fabulous poses.
What is it with his? His whole thing is poison, and yet what is it with Itadori and just things not affecting him?
Sakuna armor.
I guess.
Yeah.
Still, and his whole thing is
Man,
poison, and Itadori is just getting stabbed, but it's like, whatever. It hurts. That's about it.
why isn't my poison working on him? Oh, he's resistant. Yeah, I'm like 90% of the creatures in the monster manual, bitch.
Ah, you beat me to
Oh
it.
no, he's resistant. He has plot armor.
Meep, if you weren't gonna
Nah,
make that joke, I was.
nah, he's considered a fiend, and all fiends are immune to poison. Sorry to say.
Hmm.
Hmm. Uh, so who thinks Nanami is gonna die next episode? Raise your hand.
No!
That man has a target on his back the size of a barn.
Speaking
Think
of
he'll be
Nanami,
fine.
who the fuck was that scrub in the beginning? Like,
He was
who the
another
fuck
tier
is he?
one.
Like, his design was, like,
They,
surprisingly boring.
they don't even give him a name. They call him Year 1 Sorcerer.
No, he said he's gonna make him a class 1 sorcerer if he does this.
Mm.
I mean, it could just be a no-name random insert, or or in a few episodes they could turn out to be really important. You never know.
Do you think Gojo is going to be Itadori's shoulder to cry on
Will it also be a
when
dick to
he
ride
comes
on?
back with the blood? Yeah. Do you think he's going to be Itadori's shoulder to cry on when he comes back with the blood of Junpei on his hands?
I don't think you heard what I said, Meep.
I did not.
Yeah, he's gonna be a shoulder to ride on, but also is he gonna be his dick to ride on?
He's 16, Dalaran.
Give it time.
Legal in certain parts of Japan.
I guess if it's Itadori's choice. Anyway, I don't like where this is going. So, back to the episode.
I don't either. Cards, everyone.
We're doing cards?
The
Yeah.
other thing that was other thing that was a little stereotypical, but obviously needed to happen uh was Nanami making sure, Itadori didn't get destroyed with that club. Jumping in to make sure he didn't get wrecked.
That'll turn Itadori's head into a pancake.
I that I also when we looked back and saw him with that his club for a hand, I was not looking at the club for a hand. Did you see like the fucking goat legs?
Yeah, because he sped out of there.
Yeah.
He just went full on like
Satyr.
chimera shapeshifter.
Yeah, that's his whole shtick. He did that versus Nanami too to increase his speed.
Uh,
I
also, the fucking three.
Itadori, I have gotten naked and grown goat legs. It has made me stronger.
That is one thing I can mention about this show is that their use of animation, especially in this episode, from things like Mahito's ability to transform and create this unsettling animation of body horror, to hits feeling heavy and impactful, to just like the grotesque demonic emotion from Sukuna and
Mahito.
Mahito. Yeah, just great use of expressive animation.
I mean, they put a lot of expression on Mahito's face, and it makes him unsettling.
Yeah.
I also enjoy. So Mahito is a special grade curse,
Mhm.
obviously, and he's stronger than like the newborn special grade grade curse, which apparently are referred to as finger bearers. I don't understand that, but whatever. Um, anyways, so he's definitely stronger, but Itadori, it has shown his growth because he didn't freeze up and get stared. He just fucking went for it.
Mhm.
Can't see me, but I'm nodding.
That is some nice development of his character, and it makes sense because he's been training and he's been working past his doubts and his fears.
And now we're seeing a different flaw come up, his rage, and that makes me very happy. Character flaws.
Nanami didn't pull off his tie, so now I'm scared for him.
He hasn't gone into overtime yet.
Yeah, no, not Mahito. I have a feeling that Nanami is gonna die right before Itadori lands the killing blow on Mahito. Oh wait, what if Mahito pulls Nanami into an attack and Itadori just punches his head off?
I hope he doesn't.
Listen, I'm fully expecting Nanami to die.
No, don't kill me, boy.
Listen, getting this many voice actors is expensive, and your boy is an expensive boy.
He's a good
Look,
boy,
he's
though.
just gonna lose an arm. It's okay.
Nah, he's gonna get maze hued.
No, Junpei got me sued. Anyway, let me put to your card.
No, fuck, no. Who's the blonde guy that gets crippled by lust?
What?
You talking about Fury?
Yeah, Fury. He's gonna get furied.
Jesus Christ.
Listen, listen. Mustang's lieutenant got pierced through his spine, and now he can't walk. What
You know it's a
other
woman, right?
definition?
Of course you never know. Maybe Nanami will get Nina tuckered.
No, Junpei got Nina tuckered.
How could you do that? Oh!
Junpei got Nina tuckered.
Did. He even had the long hair and the body shape.
Yeah.
I was wondering what it looked like. It reminded me of something, and I know.
Did the fucking show do that on purpose? God damn it.
Now I know what he reminded me of. He legitimately reminds me of that exactly.
God damn it! Ugh. I'm
Oh
gonna
god.
fuck this show.
Here's the funny thing, Dalrod. They probably did because it's referenced other shows multiple times. Like it's had jokes and references to other shows.
Yuichi, bro.
He even says UGY.
Poor Junpei. He got the worst thing any anime could do. He got Nina tuckered.
God damn. God fucking damn it.
Can't see me,
That's
but
broken
Uh,
meep.
you can't see me, but my face is in my
I'm-
hands.
I'm gonna fuck this show. This show is legitimately one of the best shonens to come out in a long time. Its peak of this season reached the peak of My Hero Academia Season 2, which, in my opinion, and in a lot of popular opinion, is the best season of My Hero, as Season 3 and Season 4 suffered heavily because they had half the staff go work on the movies.
Season 2's finale, was that the new fight?
No, Season 2's finale was them doing the test to go to the camp, but the peak of Season 2 was the tournament arc. And Stain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Stain was peak Season 2 for me.
I don't know, New Fight and All for One was pretty good, but yeah.
They still suffered heavily, specifically animation-wise. Animation and pacing-wise.
Yeah, I hope I hope as this show continues getting season after season, I hope the animation quality doesn't go down, because that's one of the best things about it. It just looks great, it feels great, it hits great. Like Like,
Which,
it's getting up there to that. It doesn't quite have the immaculate sound design of David Productions with JoJo's, but it's getting there.
Mappa is a amazing studio, and it makes me happy to see them make so many good anime.
I guess it's my turn, huh?
Yeah.
I'm fucking this show. Wow, what Gilly said made me sad. Excuse me. Wow, what Gilly
Sound like you've
said.
got
While what Gilly said made me sad. It's this is an incredible episode. I didn't want it to end again. If they did fake us out hard and Junpei is dead, just fuck. This was really good. That's all I gotta say. Next episode, please.
Yeah, Gilly, what say you?
Fuck the show, because I still have a good time with it, even though I wasn't too happy with certain things. And I'm really hoping everyone's upset with me for the Nina Tucker thing now.
They should be.
I
If
need
they're
to
not,
check
they
chat.
should be.
I need to check chat. I haven't checked.
Hey, chat. Can we get some boo gillies in chat?
Oh, that's a name I recognize. Hey, Macon.
But no, I still enjoy the show, and like I said, it's not. I Out of everything I said, was never saying I had a bad time with this. It just felt like I was. It just This felt like one of the situations for me where it was tropey like always, but it didn't do anything to elevate that trope. It just felt like same old, same old. But I still had a lot of fun with it, and I keep watching it. And we're at the halfway point, so we got plenty to go.
This show is going to be fun. It's genuinely one of my favorite shows this season.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Also, yes, I was broken by Gilly's Nina Tucker comment because he's right, and that upsets me. Alrighty. With that, I think we are ready to move on to Akudama Drive, I believe.
Yeah.
Uh, where are my notes? I need to find my notes. Drive. Sorry, everyone. It's hard to find my notes sometimes because fucking Google Docs isn't the best website.
That's
Alrighty.
it's convenient for free.
In this, Akudama Drive, Episode 11, Courier and Swindler get stuck in the decontamination field, which makes them relive fond memories. Hacker saves them and explains Kanto is a supercomputer with the minds of the people as data, and the kids are vessels for it. As a thanks to Swindler, he gives his digital wife to hack into the mainframe and save them. At the end, we see Pupil attacking the Shinkansen with a fucking laser cannon.
So the beginning of this
I
episode, man.
Sorry.
Hmm?
Now, I was just gonna say, I'm not gonna lie, this was the weakest episode for me.
Huh. Well, uh, look forward to you elaborating why that is. Uh,
I
I
heard a phone ring, and now he's muted, so I think he's answering a call.
yeah. I was trying to
That,
trying to cover that
that was,
up. I was
that
trying to
was
be
the
like,
home.
oh, I'm aware. Well, I'm curious to see why you say that is when you have the time. But in the meantime,
Yeah, that was the landline. I have no way to turn that on silent.
It's called scissors.
It's called that. I can't do that because I don't own the landline.
It's crazy to me that you still have a landline.
Yeah, well, both my parents are in their 50s to 60s.
Nothing wrong with having a landline, Dalaran.
That's not bad. It's just archaic.
It's
Anyways,
helpful.
I'm not shitting on landlines. I'm just saying I'm surprised.
How dare you talk shit about landlines in front of me?
I just remember how long it took me to convince my mother to get rid of her landline.
are there
Yeah.
phones in Akudama Drive?
Hmm?
There's like
I said, have
cell
we?
phones.
Yeah. They have
Okay,
they
I
have like
don't.
smartphones because that's where she got texted by a hacker when he died.
Oh, fair. Hmm.
So
Anyways,
the beginning of this episode was a fucking trip. Cause,
yeah,
Cause I was like,
scared.
yeah, I was like watching it and like the opening scene. I'm like, oh, it's like, oh, cool, cool, cool. Like I saw the fucking blimp and the orange background, and I'm like, oh, cool, cool, cool. They're it's a reference to the opening scene in episode 1, and then it's Swindler putting away her coat at work, and I'm like, this is the scene to episode 1.
And then we see her pay for the takoyaki instead of bumping into Courier.
And they go their separate ways, and she jumps into a bed, and it's like, ah, beds are nice, and I'm like, I know, girl,
I
we
thought
take
this
our
was
beds for granted.
I thought it was gonna be a whole what if scenario.
I thought the whole episode was going to be that too, but then I
Filler.
also thought like, nah.
He thought it was gonna be filler in an original series.
I thought they were going to I thought what they were doing was they were going to use it to delay before the finale as just a what if scenario, and then the last minute would phase back in, and then we'd actually get what's leading into the finale.
That's fair, but that's still funny to me. Just filler in this original series. Oh god, that's great.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I know. I just find that funny. That concept. Uh yeah, we get Scared Boy Courier.
Yeah, that was a very interesting face he made there.
Yeah.
We got such a random bit of out of nowhere, just this random piece of Courier backstory. Well, like
Yeah.
where he lost his arm and think his mother getting fucking shot.
It's fucking eviscerated.
It just
What
felt
happened?
like out of nowhere.
I will say this. I will say this that was definitely the most forced exposition of one of the Akudama's backstories.
It's almost like Courier doesn't speak, so we have to force it out of him by kicking him on the ground.
Force it out of him by taking his arm from him and shooting his mom.
No, no, no. They shot
Courier.
his mom, then they shot his arm off.
What kind of
Or
gun are they
hand off.
using that just like completely removed that?
Yeah, man.
My
I
my
don't know
favorite
what. I
side.
don't really want. Oh, sorry, really quick. Also, Courier was an edgy kid before he lost his mom too.
He was, yeah.
You were
That
gonna say
just
me?
What we
makes it better.
what we don't see is what Swindler was like before he killed his dad and took his hair.
What?
It's a joke.
I don't. I don't get it.
The joke is what child has that haircut?
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't know why. There was something about because when she's laying in the bed, she gets a call. It's obviously from work, and she just like after she, I can't remember if she answered it and hung up or if she just ignored it.
No, she
It
just hung up.
says Yeah, just says to herself that her boss needs to stop calling her, spend time with your wife and kid.
Yeah, that's a thing I'm
Which,
hearing in places like Japan and Hong Kong where bosses feel like even when you're not on the clock, they are entitled to your time no matter when they call you. So seeing Swindler do that, I'm like, yeah, you go, girl. Tell him to fuck off.
that was interesting.
Her boss wants a booty call.
I don't know if that was the infliction, but I chose not to take it that way. Also,
That was the
implication.
implication I got. Like, specifically because she mentioned his wife and kid. That was the implication I got, that she might have a bit too much of a flirty boss.
Imagine Swindler's fucking her boss.
No.
That's what
Della,
that
she,
that that's why she didn't go for Cutthroat, not because he was murderous or anything.
hmm. But Gilly in Dalaran, she confirms in one episode that she is a virgin.
Well, she used it to get a dude to put his face between her legs, and then she kneed him in the nose and snapped his neck.
No, she takes the tin can and cuts a guy's eye open.
That came afterwards, and that was really cool too. Also,
That was before.
I love
Oh.
that in this episode, like in the beginning, like fucking lucid, fucking digital simulation thing. It was great. First of all, we got Soft Boy Courier, which just felt wrong, and then we got Swindler, but like the kind of swindler that like we all thought she was in the beginning of the season. Like really cutesy and like bashful and soft, and it's like, oh, I'm so glad I finally was able to give you back your 500 yen, and like shaking and looking side to side bashfully while blushing. And then both of them, I understood, I can get Swindler doing this, but both of them like looked up and was like, no, you're not real. The real Swindler Courier has a foul mouth. It was great. I loved it. It was fun, man. I thought it was really fun.
No, it was fun. It was definitely a fun time.
And then Hacker came back because, yeah,
Hacker never dies because he's in
Yeah.
the digital world now.
he's a Digimon. I think they did a Digimon reference.
I'm pretty
No,
sure when he was doing No, I'm pretty sure when he was doing the dive when he was made out of data, that was a Digimon reference.
also, was there a Digimon reference in Adachi to Shimomura with the Space Girl? Or
I'm
was
not
that
sure.
a reference to, what's it, Dorumon? The little blue cat thing?
I don't know. I've never seen or done anything with Digimon.
But you know Doraemon, I think it's an old Toei property.
I'm raising my hands. I don't know.
Alright, moving past. Yeah, so that whole scene was fucking lucid and weird, man. I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but like I really had no idea where this episode was going. And then Hacker came back and deconstructed the Matrix and just revealed that Kanto is just this. Okay, and now this is when the show has hit like ridiculousness level, right? Because like we already had a bunch of ridiculousness, but Kanto's like in the sky in a fucking suspended gravity supercomputer debris whirlwind. What?
That was where the show kind of lost me for this episode. I did not need that at all. I
Did not need what?
I did not need the whole, Kanto being suspended in airspace and being a supercomputer. That was where I was just raising and tilting my head the whole time.
Nah,
It,
man. The
I
super.
honestly, looking at Kanto, I have so many questions because there was no ground anywhere.
Yep.
Where
Yeah.
what the fuck where are they in time and space?
They're either in like
Right.
they're either like in a distorted reality or like a distorted gravity zone, or they're up in the sky in like a distorted gravity zone or like an electromagnetic zone. I don't know.
What if the
Ooh,
moon wasn't destroyed, but they are on the moon? and that was Earth.
Kanto is the moon.
That destroyed image of the moon was actually just a reflection.
I still am curious how the moon got caught in the crossfire between two regions of Japan. Did one of them just nuke the moon? What the fuck happened?
No. I mean,
Somebody's
the joke.
somebody's missile guidance was really bad.
No, the joke is someone really hated the moon. It's like, fuck you, moon! But the show does explain that. They're like, there were colonies on the moon of, like, different people who also belonged to Kanto and Kansai, and they nuked each other.
But how is there ways to how would they have gotten word that war had broken out on Earth?
This is obviously super advanced in the future, mate. Like,
But that's not how radio waves work.
well, maybe they do light waves.
Did someone just get in a rocket, go to the moon, and go, hey, they're warring down there, we need reinforcements? And then they just started nuking each other
Listen,
on the
man,
moon.
if they could make a supercomputer that can house hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of consciences. Anyway, they can make light travel, light wave telecommunication.
I mean, that's fair, but still, it's a bit out there.
Speaking of out there, I did not like
going to space.
Yeah, I did not like Kansai, Kanto being the suspended skydom thing with no explanation. That was anime bullshit, as much as I hate to say it. What I did like, though, was the supercomputer, because to me, that made sense.
Digimon, digital monsters.
How did it make sense? Nothing
Digimon
about
are
Kanto
the
makes
champions.
sense.
Because nothing about Kanto is known. There are no pictures, there are no signs, there are no people. Everything is done virtually.
I guess it's just it was just really off-putting to me, and it just made me miss Brawler and Hoodlum. Why did we have to get Courier as our last Akudama? He's boring.
Because he kept to himself. But yeah, this was straight up. I like the Digimon jokes don't stop there. Like when the kids were like held up by this like purple wire weave of like demonic cyber energy that was downloading Kanto into them and they were literally burning a fucking disc. Did you guys catch that? That they're just burning a fucking disc? When the disc turns white, it's full of data. These guys are just trying to offload all of their LimeWire music and porn onto these two kids, and that's kind of fucked up, you know?
Shrug.
Also, one last note about the Kanto sequence in the beginning of the episode, the first third, about how, like, the whole vision thing. I have started becoming really sick and tired of Usagi-kun and Sami-san, Shark and Bunny puppet, but the way they used them there, kind of intruding on the memories and kind of creating this meta commentary that Swindler and Courier could hear, and most importantly, the shadows, the ominous shadows they casted when they were on the screen, was a really good touch. I really appreciated that.
Because they are made by Kanto.
Yep. And then we got Hackermon.
Hacker never dies.
Even when it's just a head floating.
Look, we got that little moment where his symbol appeared in the corner of her little like phone tablet thing. Hacker never dies.
He might not. I don't know. He might not be dead. Or he just gave her his data and, powers, heavy quotation mark.
Nah, Hacker was living the dream he always wanted. He's he's always in the computer now because he is the data. He's living the dream.
He's living the dream. He is the net neutrality.
Oh my god. Swindler and hacker end up getting together, not Swindler and Courier.
How about nah?
Hacker man.
Now, let's be honest. Judging by how this show has been going, Courier's probably dying next episode.
Probably, and then it's just oh man, the scene when spoilers. Hacker goes into this visually stunning 3-dimensional light technicolor light digital 3D fucking data stream and fights a game with his life and gets fucking wrecked on a virtual scale and erodes away, but not before saving the kids. And the kids gets a little fucking stupid. The kids release all of their souls in them to help him save them, and Hacker's like, stupid Kanto, you should have never made the kids sentient or conscious. And I don't get it. I don't care. It was amazing to look at. It was stupid, but fucking hell, it's Akudama Drive. Not everything here makes sense, although this was borderline. This was dumb. It was borderline stupid. And the kids come back, and then little brother is really upset about little sister being really close friends with Swindler, and them all being cursing and friendly and it was so cute, so fucking cute.
We're gonna go on lots of adventures. No, Big Sis isn't a shithead.
And he's like how I'm supposed to be the one protecting you, how the I shouldn't say that, but how is your ass going to protect me? You're shit at it. And he's like, when did you become so vulgar? Me and Big Sis went on many adventures together, grown up and women. And her Swindler's face of just I took your sister, we're now friends.
But it kind of threw me off when he's like, she's not old enough for that. I was like, what? Especially considering there was, almost a sex trade thing.
It's a joke. On there, so. Because he thought he meant that her and Swindler took her to the red light district.
Well, Swindler made the whole joke about taking her on an adventure into womanhood, that kind of. She phrased it very intentionally in a bad way. I just know she did.
Yeah, Swindler was being shit.
to make him angry.
I know, but it's funny though.
It's good. It's good. I really love the moments with brother and everything, and yeah, just Hacker just going on that fucking digital trip was gorgeous.
Then we see the Shinkansen get blown up in the 11th hour.
Which is fucking crazy, because the Shinkansen is this holy thing to the people of Kansai, right? And then they just blow it up with a plasma cannon. Yeah. A particle cannon. So, the executioners have gone fucking mental. They've killed...
I have a feeling Kanto ordered that because, the supercomputer must be aware that, hey, our vessels got taken. Fix it.
Yeah, but the executioners have gone fucking AWOL, man. They went off the fucking deep end, killing all those citizens and now blowing up the Shinkansen.
To quote the Queen from Moriarty, using whatever brutal tactics you must use, get them back. While this episode kind of left me wanting, I am excited for next episode. I am excited to see the finale.
I guess.
Are we ready for cards? Because
yeah, I am.
I'm gonna fuck this show as much as this episode left me wanting. I'm still gonna fuck it.
Giddy.
It
Huh?
What did you?
Did Gilly die?
I heard him
It-
say something, but I think it cut out.
I said,
Yeah.
is that it?
Ah.
Oh yeah.
Alright, I guess I'll take it
What
away.
is your?
Uh, yeah, no, I'm fucking the show. The whole the whole Sky thing is weird. I'm not crazy about it, to be honest. I think it's the weakest part of the show. It's the world has been really established, and so have the characters, even more so. And this whole thing with like no explanation of what the fuck was happening just really felt weak. It was just like over the top anime nonsense. But otherwise, I just remember ending the episode and being like, well, that was incredible. Like, super over the fucking top and kinda dumb, but still incredible. Like, the animators were obviously just having fun rendering different 3D shapes and animations throughout, like, the majority of this episode. It looked like such a blast to create from an artist perspective, and it was visually stunning. It was a great way to bring Hacker back without really changing his character much, which is normally like we praise character development, but if it's unnecessary, then why do it? Yeah, show's great, love it.
Giddy. What say ye?
It took what I was already feeling, and then it just added confusing, unnecessary absurdity. So I'm still gonna kill it. It didn't bring me closer to it. It pushed me farther away with what they were doing this week.
Yeah. Can't really fault you on that one. This episode was weaker, in my opinion. Not enough to ruin all my good faith that I've built up for the show, but enough to go, ooh, ouch, hope next week's better.
And I mean, all this show is really done. All this show has left me feeling right now, and I don't like feeling this way about anything. It's just leaving me feeling sitting here waiting for the finale to end with our last few remaining characters just to die. And that doesn't give me any joy from a show. Just leaving me with the sensation that the characters are all gonna die. It's just gonna end with that.
Mm. I think the only one who's gonna die next week is Courier. That's just me personally.
What'd you say?
I said I think me personally, I think the only one who's gonna die next week is Courier, but who knows?
I mean, if we follow that, it's very much possible.
Because he finally finished his job, so now nothing can get in his way.
I mean, this is the final leg, right? We're gonna see how they tie it all up, and I have been
I'm just I'm just waiting for just all of a sudden everyone's dead, everything goes white, and then there's just and then there's just Swindler with her old hair, Courier, Hoodlum, and Brawler, and hey look, it's pretty much heaven. And the show ends.
gods. I hope not.
Doctor, Doctor, and Cutthroat don't go to heaven.
No, they
I'm not
don't.
including them because they wouldn't be there. No.
No, they fucking are awful.
Unless in the process of doing that, they try to create this like ideal of like everyone when they were doing better, Cutthroat acting how he was before he tried to murder her, and Doctor being bitchy but not, murderous, creating just a dysfunctional happy family dynamic, and then the show ends.
Gods, I hope not.
All of them
That is
being
what
in
the show is. That is like the lowness the show has brought me to, and thinking they might do. And it makes me sad because I've had such a good time with it.
Well, I
Well,
guess
maybe
that's the
that's
tough thing
true.
about like the 11th episode of a season. Like this week's session is great because we've had some really strong moments to talk about, and I feel like it's made us emotional in one way or another. But we can't speak with definitive certainty, or we can't really put our foot down and say how we feel because the ending is just 1 week away.
I'm already pretty certain, or not pretty certain, but I'm already feeling strongly about a lot of stuff to talk about next week. And I am so excited. But hey,
Anyway, what
that
a
is.
crazy twist, right?
Listen, this has been happening for the past few weeks. The only twist this week was you killing Ikebukuro, and while I support your decision, it was still surprising.
No. I meant for the episode that one hacker line that we have on top of the on the screen
Oh,
right now.
wait,
What a twist!
I forgot about what the twist.
What a twist! Speaking of twists, the
Why
most
do you
dramatic
have to-
show of our season.
Just give me a second and let me. So I'm gonna read the one note I took with this show as well. So just give me a second.
We're talking about Kuma Bear, by the way, just so everybody knows.
Kuma Chameleon, episode 11.
Kuma
Yuna
Kuma
and
Kuma
Atla
Kuma Kuma Chameleon.
Yuna and Atla arrest the noble, and Yuna eats with the family she saved. She then decides to boil the Kraken and succeeds. The only blessing I can take is that I only have one more episode of this cock and ball torture before it's finally over.
Meep, you didn't like that Yuna almost lost?
We'll get there.
Yuna's
This
biggest
show,
weakness: sleep deprivation.
It
this show isn't funny. Send tweet.
was funny.
It's not funny.
Oh well. Atla. Alright, so let's talk about. Well, yeah, Yuna's fucking exhausted because this episode, for the first time, I think, in the whole series, like, picks up where we left off, but, like, with a recap? Not a recap, but just like a.
Well, so we've had, in a way, where it picked up where it left off, but this was the first time it was immediately linked within like the next day.
And the next, like, 5 hours.
Yeah, instead of like a month ahead that links to the last episode.
Yeah, it was weird that we were, like, retold what happened with the thieves, and then and then, like, the bandit base, and then we're just picked up immediately there. The picking up part isn't weird. It was the flashback, not the. You know what I mean. The whole, like, repetition was a little jarring, but whatever. Who cares? I guess.
But a little bit different than what they've been doing.
Yeah. Also, I really like Atla. I think she's great. She has a very reasonable reaction to finding out that Yuna caught two thieves and then blew up the fucking base and then captured the rest of them. And she can also be intimidating and scary, so that was really cool.
Yuna enacted nuclear winter on those thieves.
What I didn't like about Atla, it's not even about her, it's what the show did with her. Why did they lighten her complexion for the rest of the episode after the opening scene?
It might have just been a thing with the time of day, maybe.
I thought it was like an indoor lighting thing when they were capturing the corrupt merchant guild leader when he was in the vault. but she continued to be a lighter complexion for the rest of the episode, which is not fucking cool because she's dark skinned. Like, I don't think she's depicted as black. She's depicted like Polynesian or some kind of, but she has a darker complexion, and it just looked like they bleached her. They didn't make her white, but they made her look a lot lighter than she was in the first 2 episodes and in the opening. So, what the fuck?
She's in the opening?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Cleavage and all.
She should not be dressing like that around a 15-year-old.
Don't tell her how to dress.
But she lives by the ocean. She needs to wear, you know, clothes that help with the warm weather.
It's like wearing those small little Dorito bikinis that the actual bikini part is about the size of a Dorito. And
To be fair,
and it only covers the nipple.
to be fair, Atla is scantily dressed. Like, she's wearing very little, which surprises me about this show, but I guess they needed at least some character to have sex appeal, and they might as well choose the, adult person to do that.
Yeah, it can't be Yuna, that's a problem.
Can't be Yuna,
Yeah.
can't be Fina, it can't be anyone else.
Can't do an episode 2. No, they could do Uncle Gens's wife.
But she's so tired all the time.
She's been through enough, but they can do Uncle Gens.
The Uncle Gets calendar.
Kuma 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 Bear, the NTR episode. I mean, what?
Anyway, holy shit, Meep. Yeah, that's the one thing I really didn't like about this episode. Otherwise, I love Atla. I think she's a great addition, a temporary addition, but I love her when she's on the screen. I'm talking about her, so I should put her on the screen. God damn it. They did if you look at the screen right now, that is not the complexion of Atla for every time she's ever been shown. But they gave her some moments. They gave her some moments being very competent, very focused, very serious. She's even scary sometimes. And the scene when she intercepts and bitch slaps the fucking noble when he was trying to escape, they put a lot of her hair moved. We don't see a lot of really quality animation because that's not the style of the animation in this show. It's very stylistically minimal and cute and moe and pastel and rounded out, but in this one, her hair moved and the shadows casted on her face because of the hair. It was really good. What I'm saying is, it was unexpectedly really good, and she was just a good character to have in this episode.
Yeah.
Also, fucking called it. Not only was the merchant leader the bandit organizer, which again sucks because people who risk their lives should be rewarded accordingly, even if it means making prices for goods higher so that they can be rewarded for their fucking lives. Cough, cough. Essential workers. Cough, cough.
A Hofson, cashier.
Yeah, seriously, it's abysmal how we're treating the people that we forced to work through a pandemic, but I digress. Yeah, so unfortunately it undermines that message by having him be a crook, but regardless, that was cool. But also that the little girl cooks Japanese food! Look at that grilled fish, rice, miso soup, and soy sauce.
This coastal city seems to have a lot of the stuff from Japan, and Una's very happy about that.
I mean, we're getting a season 2, right? Obviously, we're getting a season 2 because they mentioned another country.
Yeah, I assume so, but I haven't looked it up, but I assume so.
Meep, I get you don't like this show, but I watched Kuma Bear, right? And I was watching it, and I see the paces, but I don't know what it is about the show, but I thought to myself, like, man, I'm good to watch like another 20 episodes of this, of just Yuna going to different places and just hanging out. It's like a very casual isekai, where she just, I guess you could
Yeah,
say that
I
Yuna is the true Tabi Tabi.
oh, I was just gonna make that same fucking joke.
Damn it, I'm sorry, Gilly.
About to. Meep's dead because he's very upset about this.
Kuma no Tabi Tabi. Damn it.
Fucking joke, just like I love Yuna's adventures, going to new cities and plan to go new country and meeting new people and helping them.
And eating new food and helping them and fighting some monster that should be really strong, but then just one-shotting them. However, that being said, Yuna did come close to losing this fight, or just being exhausted of resources, so we do know she has a limit, and the limit is boiling a fucking lagoon with a kraken in it.
Yeah, I love how her plan was. I love how her plan, like she was trying to figure out what to do. Is like, I'm going to make a, I'm going to, I'm going to make a hot pot. What?
Yep.
E?
Just, I loved it. Also,
Meep's
just a
back.
giant worm for bait.
Also, that worm's gross fucking looking.
It was. I I loved that her tired mind came up with some really weird ways trying to figure out how to do this. One, I remember one of the first ones was her was this mental imagery of one of I think it was one of her bears trying to fly, or
It's trying to.
drawing the kraken in with fucking like the air the airplane pylons. It was dumb, goofy things she was thinking of, and I can only chalk that up to probably how tired she was.
I mean, she even said it. Like, she thought, like, what if I put myself into a magical bubble and then drown? Like, she's just like, fuck, I'm tired. My brain is making up stupid shit.
It was cute and it was fun. And
Remember,
that's what I
everyone.
love about this show.
Remember, everyone. Good sleep scheduling is crucial to a healthy and functioning mind. Both mental and physical health rely on you having a good sleep. I am sorry, Makant. I now realize that that joke is mean. Sorry, chat.
But we don't need to sleep because sleep is for the weak.
Ugh.
Don't listen to him. I rarely sleep, and obviously I'm perfectly fine.
Just now keeping an eye on chat because one of our friends is here and he deals with insomnia, so I'm just like, oh no! So is that why I'm a raving lunatic? I mean, maybe? Anyway, back to the show.
Sometimes it just be that way.
Sometimes it be that way. I really like the ending of the show. Like, it's a good song, especially having Yuna sing. Having Yuna lip sync
Yeah,
along to it is cute.
it always is. Every time it's just it's cute. It's fun. And I have it sadly it's one of the few I don't have saved into a Spotify playlist because I'm having trouble finding it.
Fair. I mean, I guess Haruki did something right.
It's a lot of things I have saved, and that's one of the ones I want saved. I can't. I have difficulty finding it.
Sorry, I say Haruki, I meant Haruhi.
It's just it, it's been so strange not seeing like it almost feels off having an episode without like Fina.
About who?
Fina.
Oh yeah, what about her?
It just feels weird having an episode without her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this arc definitely
We've
does
seen her.
feel like...
We've been seeing her so much.
Yeah, she's like an integral part of the show. I guess that's what I was talking about last. I think that's what I was feeling last week when I was like, man, this show it feels like we're doing a new arc for the finale and like a mini arc because it really feels like different, almost filler esque.
Yeah, I am a knowing that we only have one more episode left of it. I'm asking myself a question. There's a question I ended up asking myself as I was driving earlier, picking up groceries. Is this god figure that transported her here gonna come into play again?
I mean, I guess that will decide if we have a season 2 or not because I'm I'm still sticking with my prediction last week, which is, she defeats the Kraken, they eat it, she finds Japanese food and rice and soy sauce, and she kind of makes a whole thing. Maybe they're going to have, like, takoyaki, and then she's going to take all the food back, and the last episode is her coming back to Cascadia or wherever the town is that, the big city where she lives with Fina and everyone else, and she's going to make a giant feast for all of her friends. And honestly, I'm cool with that because it's just more of the same feel good, wholesome, low stake fluff that I've been enjoying. But if the god comes back, maybe at the end, she's like, "Oh, you did your thing. Now we're gonna take you to the new world, or we're gonna return you back to your life," or I don't know.
How did you how did you like this pre-alpha build demo?
Fuck, I forgot that was the context for it.
Turns out she's only been asleep for 1 day.
Damn it,
She,
I
she
really want.
wakes up, she's in a hospital room. We find out Kuma Bear is actually just Sword Art Online.
No, don't. Gilly, I thought you liked the show.
She just
I Okay, first of all, I've actually said before I like the first part of Sword Art Online. If it ended there, the show would have been fantastic.
But the pacing is shit.
It is not that bad.
No, the pacing in Sword Art Online is bad.
I liked the show. I just didn't. I just wished everything after the first part didn't happen.
It's fine to like the show. I love the relationship episodes in the mid-season with Kirito Asuna and Yui, but the pacing is bad.
No, I'm asking I was
well,
asking myself that question earlier because yeah, we're nearing the finale and all I can think is that god figure going to come back into play, or are we just gonna have a really cute like finale like we have been like the rest of the series?
Yeah, I guess if the god comes back, I mean that'll probably end the show, like, right, like that's the finale moment. But if they don't, I can see a Kuma Bear Square too. Also, chat's asking if
Kuma
there
Bear
was
2,
chat saying
Electric Boogaloo.
yeah, electric bear galoo. Bear igloo. Yeah, we're going to the south, to the north, the poles. Whoops.
Electric Bear Glue.
That has sad implications. Chat's asking if has Steak been involved in the show? Has I don't feel like I can't remember there being a Steak.
hamburger steak.
Then again, they were focusing on, like, you know.
Steak.
Hmm.
What?
Me?
What is going on?
I think we're having a stroke, collectively.
Oh no. The the
Regardless,
dream, it's collapsing. Oh no.
fuck no, hacker, not yet. We're having fun.
This,
Wait,
the
I
simulation
said
can't handle
hamburger
it.
steak. Hamburger steak.
Hamburger steak. You're right. They did do hamburger. There you go, chat.
Hamburger.
hamburger steak. It's really been kind of like food that isn't around your usual medieval fantasy world. From like burgers and hamburger steak to like pudding, but also like pizza and miso soup and well rice, which is foreign to, medieval European Western civilizations. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the episode. The Kraken fight was alright. Seeing Yuna kind of be pushed to her limits was fun,
it,
but
it sort of came and passed real fast, and honestly, I'm fine with that.
I thought it was a little underwhelming. The scene with the family cooking for Yuna was really cute. Uh, yeah.
She gets there, and she just can't stop thinking about she just can't stop thinking about her rice and her miso soup and her fish.
I want, like, pickled yellowtail right now with rice and miso soup.
Are we ready to hold up cards?
I'm
Because
hungry.
I feel like I feel like I let you guys talk for a little bit.
What's your favorite scene in the in this episode, Meep?
Watching Yuna die over and over.
No, I don't. Meep, that's not your show. I think.
Specifically watching her drown.
No, Meep, that's not the show. That's your card.
Oh my god, he's dead.
Yuna got him.
Meep is dead.
He fucked around with Yuna and found out.
Can't believe Meep is fucking dead. Oh, he's alive again. There we go. We're fine.
Yuna is the type of girl. Yuna's that bitch that would like kill you and then just start singing a upbeat song as she walks away.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. But yeah, what are your predictions for the last episode, Gilly?
Honestly, I don't know. Like I'm seeing again. I think it's either going to be one of two things. If they're going to continue the series, we'll probably get left off. We'll probably have a final episode of we'll probably have an episode of like yeah her like eating with everyone, having a good time, saying her goodbyes, and then getting on like a ship or something. If this is actually the end of the series, I fully expect Mr. God to come back into play, or if it is the end of the series, they could do the literal same thing and just leave us off with like the note of like she's going out adventuring, but she'll come back.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like, oh, Yuna's, oh, yeah, there she goes, the great Kuma Bear.
Yeah, and then that's just like how they end it. I think I've experienced a few anime that have done that. I cannot remember which ones, but I know I've experienced that before.
Eh. Oh my god, she goes out like Guts from Berserk.
I have not watched Berserk yet. I need to. I
You
just
do,
haven't.
it's good.
It's on my list.
Just watch the classic OVA.
Like it's one of the many things I have on my list. Meep keeps dying.
Yeah, Meep's dead, but my sirens are going off.
Oh no, Dalaran. They know they're coming for you.
Hello?
Hello. Meep, I'm
Hello?
sorry, we're here to give the sex. We can't give you a sex.
Hey. Okay, so you asked me what my favorite scene in the show is.
God
I said
damn.
watching Yuna drown.
And then Yuna fucked you up because you fucked around and found out.
Yuna DDoSed you from from a different world.
No,
Yuna
watching Yuna
desynced
drown
you.
was my favorite part of the show.
Huh?
said watching Yuna drown was my favorite part of this show.
He didn't learn his lesson. She's gonna come back for him, Gilly. I feel bad for the man.
She's gonna steal your credit card information and buy Mohe body pillows.
Ugh.
But I've already ordered a Sylvina body pillow.
Who?
My character, Sylvina. I
That's-
I post about her and shout about her all the time. Follow me on Twitter at soul_king777.
That's a
If you wanna
weird way
see
to
me
say
shouting about
Sherlock,
her-
Meep.
What?
That's a weird way to pronounce Sherlock.
Sylvina is nothing like Sherlock Dalaran.
The joke is that you love
I mean,
Sherlock.
the only thing she has in common with him is that she's gay, but still.
Sherlock gay? Chat, your sex, hand it over.
You've seen how he looks at Moriarty.
They're just friends, man. Anyway,
Well,
Gilly,
him
what's
and
your
Watson
card?
definitely fucking-
Gilly, what's your card?
Oh, I'm here to fuck this show. It's very pleasant. It's nice.
It's nice.
It is warm. It make me feel the good.
Yeah. Also, the scenes with when they were giving away the captured bandits and the bears just going, yeah, it was really fucking cute. Both of those scenes, just adorable.
The bears are always cute.
Yeah. But unfortunately, like Yuna, I am starting to get sleepy, so I will give my final thoughts and hold up my card. I am fucking the show. Again, cute. Though this has definitely felt like the most high stakes episode we've had in a while, just in terms of like plot drama. Kraken almost beat Yuna, which was really cool. Like, Yuna finally saw some challenges, so I'm like, oh shit, is she going to make it? She's probably going to make it, but still, maybe. But yeah, we got the tasty good Japanese food, and a whole lot of adorableness from the two Kumas. So, hey, I'm happy. We have a new female character who's strong, adorable Kumas, and sleepy Yuna. I'm set.
Everything we need.
I'm assuming we're gonna streamline the graveyard tour again.
I would appreciate it, as I am starting to taper down.
Also, I'm killing this show. Obvious.
Well,
And
this is
with
my-
that, Meep.
This is my my essay length description of King's Raid.
Before we do that, Meep, I believe you have an announcement to make.
Yes. Yukoku no Moriarty is the first show to survive into the final season, to survive until the end of the season. As well, in the same vein, Ikebukuro Westgate Park is the first show in weeks that died.
Ikebukuro is fucking dead. Which is a shame, because I do like the show, and I recommend people watching it. But by the rules of the game, this episode was not good, and the show is really good in my opinion, but I could not what's the word? I could not validate. Either way, I could not come to fucking this episode. It was not good. This was not a good episode. This was poorly done, and I'm disappointed because the show has been pretty good thus far.
And all three of us have our different criteria for what a fuck and a kill means, and that's the fun part of the show. For some people, when they do this kind of show, a fuck means can they recommend this show to people? For me, what a fuck means is, do I still enjoy this show and do I still want to stay on the ride? While I didn't quite enjoy this episode of Akudama Drive much, I'm still completely on the ride. So,
see, me and Ikebukuro have been going out for a little while, and we've had pretty good dates. Sometimes it ended a little ambiguously, or just the vibe wasn't there, but it was still a good time. It's just this last. It was the first time we went out and the day was bad, like really bad. But they've already texted me and asked if we can see each other one more time, and I agreed. So who knows? Maybe we'll get back together outside of the show, because I am going to watch the finale because I want to know how the show ends.
she let you know that she shot your dog named King.
What?
No,
you
she
mean
accidentally
named Junpei?
hit it with her car. Okay.
No, she shot my dog named Junpei.
She hit your mom with a car.
What the fuck was that?
She. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She turned your friend into a dog and then hit them with a car.
No, she Nina Tuckered your dog.
That's what I said.
Sorry, I just saw what was chat. When the sex dries up, your answer's homicide.
Rude.
Uh,
Rude.
this is fun. But for the graveyard tour, let me start with Noblesse, if that's okay with everyone.
Go ahead.
Even though Noblesse isn't dead, as the vampire walks into the graveyard to recite his tale, he tells of how he and his comrades went back to Lucadonia, the home of nobles, where he is still hunted for being suspected to kill the First Lord. Werewolf Man and two modified humans assist one of the nobles, Regis, in keeping people away from Frankenstein and Rizel. We then see a bunch of stuff happening. Getchutel, a noble, has been ordered into eternal sleep, which is essentially death. And the current lord has learned that Rizel is in Lucadonia, but unknown to her, Rizel has found the previous lord's soul weapon, known as Ragnarok. That's about it for Noblesse. This show has kind of garnered my interest back, but at the same time, I can't recommend this show because it's frankly, its main character barely says any words each episode and is just, I don't know. It feels like there's something missing from this show.
That's unfortunate.
You used a lot of words there that kind of make me glad I didn't lock it, because there's so many words there that you use that don't give me good feelings.
Oh, like what?
I don't know. Soul weapon. There's a lot of words there that just sound. There's a lot of words there that give me vibes of like, oh no.
Soul Calibur 6.
Each clan owner has a soul weapon. It's essentially a blade or weapon of some sort that's supposed to be really powerful.
So what does their Zanpakuto do?
It doesn't do. They don't really have special powers. They're just extremely strong weapons. I still think you'd enjoy the comedy of the show, Gilly, but I think that's about all you'd enjoy, probably.
Like, the more I hear about it, the more I'm just glad I didn't take that plunge.
Hey, at least both of your locks are still being watched and are alive and are being enjoyed.
What do you mean? Me and Gilly have been watching the Tommy even since it died.
Ugh.
I mean, I'm gonna bring that up briefly because I did watch that episode.
But I'm assuming you're going to mention Fruit Tart first.
Fruit Tart of King's Raid. Who? What do you want? What do you want first?
Fruit Tart.
Fruit Tart. I'm gonna be honest. It has gotten so much better at the end of its fucking series.
Too late. It's lost us.
Like these last few episodes have just not been the same awful crap. It like evolved into awful shit and then slowly reverted back to where it was near. Not it's still not where it was at the beginning, but it has reverted back a lot, which is confusing to me.
Is Fruit Tart an original property or is it based on a manga? Because if it's an original property, that might explain.
I think it's based on something.
Okay.
But yeah, this week's episode of Fruit Tart was just they finally had their concert. They finally had their little concert, and there's just a lot of talking and uh Roko's old younger sister Chico being just not the kind of creepy obsessed she has been with her sister, just supportive, sweet, and it's just been a lot of cute things. They're talking about they just have a whole conversation about how they have to have a call to action, just have to pump up the crowd. And Eno's way of doing that is just to talk about just talk about how great all of her friends are, and it was really cute. And then they sing a song about curry.
I'll
It,
ask as I always ask. So there is music. Is it any good?
I liked it. I wish it wasn't cut up the way it was because they kept jumping from the actual singing to they kept interrupting it for conversations other people were having, which was really annoying because I actually really liked it. And that was just dumb to me.
Mm.
I actually really enjoyed this episode of Fruit Tart. It was actually really nice.
Hey man, you listen. I'm happy that you're enjoying it. I mean, I'm not happy that you're enjoying the toxic bile that it is, but I'm happy you're enjoying the good moments in it.
That's why I'm so glad I watched it after Adachi to Shimamura because it was so much better.
I vote to kill Gilly, not the show, but Gilly.
Mm. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to see him out until next
all,
week. I'm gonna fuck him.
that's all I have to say about Fruit Tart. There wasn't anything too complicated in this. It was very straightforward. It was cute. It was nice. I was very happy. Uh,
All right.
King's Raid, on the other hand.
Oh, you want to dive right into King's Raid? All right, let's go.
I'm sure wants to talk about Tabi Tabi, and then I'll get the King's Raid.
Oh, sure. Tabi this week. Elena goes to a country where you pass through a gate and you make a wish, and that wish is supposed to come true. She goes through the gate wishing to be rich, but instead she ends up meeting a bunch of herselves as well as all of the places she's traveled. There are 17 Elenas in total. There are a lot of them. I cannot remember all of them for the life of me. So there's Super Rich Elena, there's Dumb Elena, Smart Elena, Greedy Elena, Ghoul Elena, Slime Elena, R Elena, who is labeled Protagonist Elena,
Ugh.
3 Depressed Elenas, 1 Elena who's in love with Saya, 1 Elena who's lesbian, but Elena makes the joke, oh, isn't she? Oh, but it just seems like she's obsessed with herself.
One Elena that's obsessed with the size of her breasts.
Right, and she just has melons in her shirt.
Yep.
Uh,
Angry Elena.
Angry Elena, Edgy Elena.
Oh yeah,
Is
Edgy Elena, the one that has an eye patch and keeps talking about uh lost there's a dragon trapped behind my eye kind of crap.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Fuck. I I can't remember who the last one is because there after that there's the evil Elena, but
The quote unquote evil is Angry Elena.
oh, okay. So I remember there was another angry Elena, or not angry, but confrontative Elena because she was bitchy.
But yeah,
And what upset me is that Ghoul Elena wasn't a flower ghoul. That's what kind of upset me with that.
That would have been good. That would have been a good throwback.
It would have been. Considering that all these Elenas are supposed to be from the wish of, I want to know what the other Elenas did in their travels, and that would have been funny if, oh, this one just got stuck in that plant field. Uh,
Well, I'll take the silence now to talk about
well,
a little bit of a Zerst.
wait, I was sorry. I was just looking at my notes I took of Tabi Tabi because there. I do want to make a point that I said to you the other day, Dalaran.
Oh.
So Elena and angry Elena eventually end up doing battle. We see 3 depressed Elena's Naruto running, but that's not important.
Fucking Naruto running Elena's.
Eventually, there's a good callback. Angry Elena says to Elena, "Haven't you ever seen someone who was once so happy turn to just a bitter, angry person?" And we see Elena pause for a moment and say, "No, I haven't." Obviously lying because episode 9 happened. And eventually, after they finish their fight and both of them are tapped with magic, Elena tells Angry Elena about that story. And then Angry Elena and regular Elena eventually make up, and all of them decide to share notes with each other, and they're going to turn their novels into books. Then we have a flash forward, I think it is, where we see regular Elena and that same Elena, who's named Amnesia, bump into each other, and it's implied that they travel together, and there's some serious romantic and sexual tensions between those two in the last parts of the episode.
Now, Gilly, do you
So
collaborate
Elena,
this? Because you know how Meep can be.
I really don't. I didn't see that.
they literally sleep together, hold hands, and look like they're about to kiss. And as I have said throughout this entire series, the only person Elena would ever fuck is herself.
Meep. The one she was laying in the bed with was the angry Elena that disappeared afterwards.
Yeah.
The one that she was walking with, the amnesiac, was not that one.
Oh.
Those were not the same one at all.
Oh. I thought they were the same one because they had the same hairstyle.
No, they were not. They are not the same one. And also, regular Elena and the angry Elena were both wearing nightgowns.
Really? Okay, I guess the nightgowns must have blended into their skin because I couldn't
Yeah,
tell they were
I thought
wearing
I thought they were naked too until it panned to one of them and you could see the nightgown just slightly above the covers.
Okay. And that was my mistake then. I thought Elena literally fucked herself.
I mean,
I
God knows she wants to.
I wouldn't put it past her, but no, that's not what I was getting. And there were a few. Yeah, there's a couple things you didn't see right.
Well, to be fair, Amnesia Elena has literally the same hairstyle as Angry Elena.
Though her was a little bit differently colored, which was weird to me. A little on the pinker side. Pinker side.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was Tabi Tabi's finale. Not going to be making the nominations list, I don't think.
So what do you guys say about Zerst, Dalaran?
Zerst? It's pretty... Zerst. So I had a little time today with our delays, so I popped open my animes and I watched, what was it, 2 episodes of Zerst? I think 2 episodes of Zerst. I think 7 and 8. What do I think of Zerst? I'm enjoying the show. I am. Like, I'm surprised. Like, I don't... listen to me. I don't believe that I like the show, because it had a really weak fucking start, but I guess I might just be a sucker for, like, government human experimentation conspiracies, where I just want to see them uncover the secret and find out what the twist. Plot-wise, white-haired, big forehead girl, dark-skinned girl, was turned into a monster in a laboratory under a mental institute, as well as there's another operation being ran in under a paperworks factory. The monsters are released on the city so that the Diet can convince the king and the military that Headkeeper, the rebel organization, has been gathering monsters and did this as a terrorist attack. Meanwhile, Leo, his friend, his blonde boyfriend, and Lieutenant Murderface, sadist murder fuckface, went off to hunt down Emmanuel and the other headkeeper peoples, which were exposed because there is a leak within their organization. Long story short, they end up retreating. They end up getting absolutely fucked, where both the leader, the black guy, and the more like Middle Eastern Afro dude with a gun, Benjamin, I think his name is, and I think the leader's name is Anton or something. They get ambushed by the lieutenant. They survive because of an explosion. New blonde girl who's just Hayu from Fruit Tart is with Emmanuel. They escape into an outer reach of the city, where it's revealed that this beautiful, by the way, like these, imagine like big English homes, like those buildings, but they look like just really large homes. Imagine that, but like covered in moss and aged for 20 years and vines next to a waterfront. There's cold fire there. The city decommissioned it. It's like 5 kilometers out of the city. Everyone like panics and are like, "What the fuck?" And then they go inside. The monster comes back, only to reveal that she still has her sanity when they kill her, and they tell of this great conspiracy. It's a lot. Fuckface's true colors come out. He cries when he kills people because he hates what he is. Everyone stabs someone, and now the crew is all together. Emmanuel, redhead girl mage, new Hayu, Leo, blonde boy soldier, and a few other people are now all united, and they're going to a new capital to uncover what the fuck is going on. It sounds extremely convoluted now that I'm hearing it out loud, but there's just something about the show that makes it interesting for me. I don't know what it is. It's just, I like mysteries. I like conspiracies in anime. Leo's kind of a dick. He's been soft boy this whole time. Oh, by the way, they save his sister. And the military's is full of assholes. But they save his sister, and Leo has been a soft boy this whole time, but when Emmanuel goes to shake his hand to apologize and ask him for his help, he grabs him and he gets really fucking dark. He says, "When this is done, I will still have to decide if I forgive you." And he almost breaks his hand, and I'm like, "Oh, Jesus." Leo goes like full fucking hate mode. But yeah, I didn't know, like, that's it. That's all there is to talk about it. It's fun. I like what they're setting up. I'm probably going to be disappointed. The show isn't great. I'm not recommending this show, but I'm enjoying the show, and I'm finding the story beat to be actually kind of good.
Well, 24 episode series.
Oh, I forgot about that. I think I'm just gonna make myself some dinner and catch up on Zerst tonight after we finish our show. It's interesting, you know? There's a sense of intrigue there. Again, Full Metal Alchemist, this is not. But, let's see where it goes.
Yeah, no, that's Jujutsu Kaisen with, them Nina Tuckering Junmei.
You know me, but joke doesn't work when you do it 4 times.
What do you mean? You laugh at Kuma Bear, so obviously it does.
I don't laugh at Kuma Bear. I enjoy Kuma Bear.
Then
I
why
get
do you
chuckles
say
out of Kuma Bear,
I get chuckles
which is
and
all I need.
Yeah, I get chuckles and I get soft feels out of Kuma Bear. So, speaking of things that we laugh at, not laugh to, not laugh with, but laugh at, but Gilly does something else with that show. Gilly.
Yeah. Yes. King's Raid.
Yeah.
Yes, let us get to King's Raid. So this was, if I'm remembering correctly, this was either episode, I think I'm pretty sure this was episode 12, which puts King's Raid at its halfway point because it's a 24 episode series. This episode was a lot lighter than it had been. We got to another moment of Castle acquiring his next level for the Holy Sword to become stronger.
Rank up.
Acquiring it from the orcs this time. To do so, he had to go through a little trial. Went into a cave. and went through a door, and all of a sudden he was in his childhood home, and there was his mother, and he was a child again, and they were eating his favorite foods. It was cute. It was sweet. It's really nice. They go out, they pick some flowers, they eat some bread,
What was his
and he
favorite
trips
food?
and he apparently has he apparently they called it his favorite food, but they kept changing it because Castle's one of those characters that just literally will his favorite food is any food.
Whatever mom made. And that's kind of sweet. I like it.
Yeah, and it was they're running through the field, he trips and falls, and then all of a sudden he's back in the kitchen again. There's his mom telling him good morning, today's a good day to go pick flowers. Once again, different dish on the table. And he slowly starts to realize what's going on. And there's actually a really good emotional moment I got a nice screen cap of with Castle just talking about no, it's not because mother is dead. And the whole thing fades, and his trial was to be able to fight through this, to like actually realize what was going on in here and fight through the temptation to stay in this happy wonderland. It was good. That was most of the episode. We technically had the big bad show up momentarily. He he was just wiping the floor with everyone. Castle swung his sword and it cut his hair, which made him angry. He got angry about his hair being cut. I I can't. Yeah.
Hey, I relate.
Um. Oh yeah. Freya got completely demolished. She got knocked out cold and torn into the ground. And Castle apparently dove into his holy sword powers, created a giant explosion, and Yamcha'd himself. So Castle is just unconscious now, and they don't know how to wake him up.
Well, they have to gather the 7 Dragon Balls and wish upon Shenron.
Oh Jesus! But I don't know. King's Raid is a bumpy ride, but I keep enjoying it enough to keep watching.
Like I said, man, if you enjoyed, you enjoy. For those of you people who enjoy stuff, you know what? Fruit Tart is one of those that I feel like I can't say that to, because no. But if you enjoy it, enjoy it. Also, I put up the orc picture you sent. I kind of dig it. It's like a combination of Oni and orc, and it actually looks good.
It's nice, and I brought this up when we were talking about it a little bit before, that for some reason that like I look at the orcs and like there is purple orcs, there are red orcs, blue orcs, orange orcs. I'm pretty sure there was a white one at one point. There is none of your like stereotypical kind of colors. There's all these like more interesting ones.
You know what it reminds me of? If like Warcraft did a Netflix anime, this is what I imagine like the Blood Orcs would look like.
But Warcraft already had a movie, Dalaran.
Let's not talk about that.
I said anime.
It was animated, it was CG.
Let's not talk about that.
Meep, do you want to lose your seat on this council?
Do you want to be
I'm the
kicked
one
off
that
your own podcast?
Motherfucker.
But yeah, no.
I enjoyed this episode of King's Raid, and I've honestly it's been a lot more on the, it's been a lot leaning more to the enjoyment lately. That might turn around now that I've said that, but it has been.
Well, I'm glad they
Can't
didn't
wait
just
to
fucking.
tell it.
I'm swear, I'm still staying by the fact that they didn't design the orcs or they didn't have time to draw the orcs in before, because I have no other excuse for there just being open, empty spaces in those flashbacks. And
They technically gave an excuse, but that's probably just an excuse they gave for why they didn't want to draw them in. Of course, it could be a thing in the mobile app. Because not in this episode, but the last one, the orcs apparently don't like to leave their valley and their mountain very much. Only actually venturing out if the need 100% arises.
yeah, normally we don't do stills for the graveyard tour, but I really like the orc design. Like, say what you will about
It
the
it is
anime.
really nice. It is really nice, and they only had two good moments. I could have gotten them a still. One was with the chieftain, who that is, and the other is with the blue one, who's like a shaman. But I couldn't find a good one for that, and I also wanted to show the red one more.
Well, the chieftain does look quite orky.
Yes. Looks like he could do some damage.
I mean, homie's fucking benching a fucking like whole jawbone of like tusk jawbone, which I think that's the one thing that bothers me. Like, I wish it was kind of tied to him a little more, but whatever. I'm nitpicking Kingsray designs. Like, what does my life come to?
Don't worry. Next, you'll be nitpicking Ochikabori fruit tart design.
Nope. I told you I liked the designs in Ochikabura Fruit Tart. I thought the animation was really funny. Like, they had a really good sense of humor in the animation, and I really liked their outfits, the little sailor combinations and everything.
You know what? I just realized that we can talk about after this. I will say it after the graveyard tour.
I mean, unless Gilly has anything else to add, that's pretty much the graveyard tour.
Yeah, there's not much else
Wait.
to say. It's luckily these last few. Luckily, both the primary shows I was talking about had very, very simple plots, so there wasn't like a lot to talk about.
Cool,
I
cool.
actually do have another show to talk about if it's okay.
Is this in the graveyard?
This is in the graveyard, yes.
Are you bringing back? Fuck! What else did we kill?
Oh wait. Fuck, no. No, it's not something we've killed, but I did watch another show that was a part of this season.
All right. Well, we'll do that as a retroactive. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. It's not part of it, but
Okay. I watched Tonikawa Princess, one of the quote-unquote best romance anime of this season. I can't agree with that because after 3.5 episodes, I kind of got bored and quit watching. It had a funny joke. It had a joke where the main character is an 18-year-old and he's married to a 16-year-old. Because, he gets hit by a car and a woman saves him by taking the brunt force of the car.
he gets isekai'd into a marriage.
No, he gets Yu Yu Hakusho'd.
Fuck, that's actually apt.
And this woman, he wants to ask her out, and he does. And she says on one condition, that they get married. And so he says yes. He proposes, and he waits about 4 years, ends up getting a convenience store job, doesn't go to college even though he got offered by the best college in the world because he was depressed because the woman that he was convinced he was in love with isn't in his life. She comes to his house about 4 years later and asks, not 4 years later, about 2 years later, and says that she has the marriage form. And the second episode is a lot about setting up their home and everything, while the first one was them meeting and getting married. And then the third episode is them going to the bathhouse because he doesn't have a bath in his apartment, where they meet a character who is a girl that helps run the bathhouse with her older sister. And that girl is talking with him, and he demands he explain. And eventually there's a joke going, oh, okay, well, do you know how old she is? And he goes, yes, she's 16. And then she punches him, calling him a goddamn lolicon. And now people in town believe he is a lolicon because she shouted that, which was actually a funny joke. But about halfway through episode 4, I just sort of clocked off, and a lot of the show is just him going, "Man, I can't believe I'm married to this girl I barely know." And while she's really cute, I actually really like her. Like, she's good, she's cute. It's implied in episode 4 that the reason she married him as well. She says she wouldn't marry someone she didn't love, but apparently she comes from a really overbearing household, so I'm not too sure. Yeah, I actually really like her, but the main guy character is just kind of boring to me. A lot of the stuff he does is he he says I'm John. I can't remember his first name, but his last name is NASA. So he's like, I will reach the speed of light faster than NASA. He says that a lot of times, but he also continuously says, "Man, I can't believe I'm married to this girl," and it gets boring quick with that. I don't know. Maybe you'll give the show another chance before next week comes around, but I don't think so. That's my review of Tonikawa Princess.
Yeah, sounds redundant. Also, could just not be your pace. Also, I don't like that joke. That sounded mean spirited. So, nah.
I actually thought it was funny because the delivery, because she just punches him, "You goddamn lolicon!" Because he's like, "Ah, yes, my wife is 2 years younger than me." Punch.
Regardless, I believe that's everything. Gilly, do you have thoughts on this matter? Okay.
Not really. I wish. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm just wishing that somebody watched Hypnosis, Mike.
Ah.
I almost did, but I chose to try Tonikawa Princess instead.
If you guys want to do a watch party, I'm down to organize that in the server.
Oh boy. Maybe. I'm scared of that show, but maybe.
Let's do a watch party. Let's do a watch party this week with the server. I think that would be a lot of fun. But with that plan for the future, that concludes Gilly's Graveyard Tour and Meep's brief review.
Time to put the corpses back where I found them.
Don't forget to scoop the jizz out of them.
People in there munging.
That might have been the worst joke I've made on this show.
Hey kids, look up munging.
Hey kids, don't do that.
I talk about the start to part of this season, whereas the shows Gilly talks about are actually dead. Well, I guess I talk about Tabi Tabi, so.
Play us out.
Not anymore. That's had its finale.
Yeah.
Play us out, Meep.
Y'all. Shows are ending next week. But yeah. Hello, I have been Meep, joined by my co-hosts Gilly and Dalaron. A big thanks to everyone for supporting this show, and a big thanks to TFS for allowing us to do this. Join us next week, same time, same channel, to watch our retrospective episode where we talk about all the shows that have both died and had their finales. We give our thoughts on them as well. We will be saying which shows we marry. For example, if someone is going to marry Fruit Tart, they would announce it after we finish talking about Fruit Tart.
They would announce it after we register them as a sex offender.
God damn it. Yeah.
I was an adult.
As always, thank you everyone for joining us today. Chat, you've been fun. Damn it, chat. Romance anime is good. Come on. It's a valid and very important genre when done right. Looking at you, Adachi Toshimamura. Or am I? Let's see how next week goes. But yeah, as always, thank you guys for catching us. You can catch us live, usually Mondays, over at twitch.tv/Dalaron Quest. That's DALARON Quest. You can catch our VODs here as well as on YouTube, the cut segments, without the intro and ending fluff. And just in terms of my little projects, I've been playing Outer Worlds on stream. You can catch that too throughout the week. And a little bit more importantly, I just did a thing. So if anyone is watching this now and hasn't done so, or is watching this later, I would really appreciate it if you guys could go check out the voice reel. I did 2 voice reels, one for my voice and the other for character demo reel. Just give it a look. Maybe leave some feedback. If you could share it around so that other people can see it, who knows? Maybe this could actually become a thing I can good at. I feel really good about the takes I took, and I would love to continue further developing myself in voice acting and voiceovers. So that's a snap and me winking at you guys, and I would really appreciate it. Gilly, say bye to everyone.
Yes, that is me. Yeah, I've been Gilly. Uh, one of these days I'll probably do something. Maybe I really don't know. I'm very inconsistent. Uh, on Twitch we got Gilligan432, and if you want to check out my inactive YouTube channel, there's the number 4 square, the number 4 play, 4 square 4 play on YouTube.
4 square 4 play.
Yes,
So number 4 square number 4 play.
play. Yep.
Cool.
Haven't put anything on there in a while, but there was some. And then, and honestly, most of the time when I stream, I actually do it on YouTube because it automatically uploads.
And our gracious fellow and organizer of this project, Meep.
Is currently not here.
He's not here? Oh, well. You can find him on Soul King, I believe, 777 on Twitter. Posts art of his OCs, posts art that he's commissioned, and, just follow him along there. I myself am waiting on a particular art piece that when it comes out, I'll be diving into the Twitter world. I've fought Twitter off for 14 years, 13 years, over 10 years now, and unfortunately, now that I made a voice reel, it means I have to make a Twitter so I can communicate with people and promote myself, as well as just see fun stuff.
What is a Twitter?
Twitter is this site where anyone can say almost anything. Fortunately, thanks to current political developments, we actually have fact-checking now, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's chat saying? The outro is professional? Hey kids, want to see? Hey kids, want to see a dead body? There are just one.
I
Not all
guess
romance
me
is
every
bad.
week.
There we go. What'd you say?
I said, yes, me every week. Do you want to see this? Do you want to see this bloated corpse?
As he pokes King's Raid and laughs as it expels nasty gas.
If we wait long enough and we give it another poke, it might explode this time.
If you look at me wrong, I'll explode. And with that, everyone, I do believe we will be bidding everyone adieu. Again, thanks everyone for joining, and we'll catch you next week on Monday. Join our Discord for up to dates updates. Redundantly redundant. Basically we'll let you know what time. Usually around 2 or 3 o'clock is when we start. Keep an eye to your Twitch notifications. And we're doing our finales. This is it. This is the end of the season, so I am both excited and a little scared because some of these shows I don't want to end.
Yeah, we're at the next week will be the finale. We're gonna just everything's gonna be done. Well, almost everything. Jujutsu Kaisen will be at its will be basically about halfway through. Everything else will be finishing. And just so that I can actually go through its finale, I'm probably going to Monday morning watch the finale episode of Fruit Tart as well, since it airs that morning.
Oh, it's a Monday airing anime?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it always it always airs on Mondays, so it's like there's
I'm back.
whenever we're sitting in here doing this, there's another episode just waiting. I know
What
it's
have I
there,
missed?
it's looming, and I'm scared of it.
Not much, Meep. We're just signing off. Tell them where they can find you so we can wish everyone a good day and a good night.
You can find me at the official FMK Twitter. Let me post it in chat. As well, you can find me at Soul_King777 on Twitter, where you can see me shouting about my OC Sylvina, as well as cute lesbians.
Cool. Excellent. And with that, everyone, guys, have a great night or day whenever you guys are watching this. And we'll see you guys for the grand finale of the Autumn Fall 2020 anime season. Bye.